Hello, actually, for real this time, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Kye.
And pull a sick prank on everybody with my accidental early go live.
You gotta keep them on their feet.
Gotta keep them on their toes.
You had me worried. You had me scared. I
was trying to catch Reese on a hot mic saying something unsavory, but I missed it.
I'm just glad that I had the volume up because I was listening to the sick tunes that you've got playing at the start, and then I could just hear myself, and I was like, "This isn't right."
Good tunes. Thanks for being there, Stormo, to see the whoopsie. Congratulations. Moron, thank you for the video and welcome on in. Thank you for pointing out that the cheers were behind the text also. I didn't realise that had been shuffled that way.
No, Kai, that was a deliberate decision that you made because we don't make mistakes.
Yeah. I was like, nah, stuff it, let's put the cheers behind there for giggles. You said Rich was saying something unsavory, do you mean it was something sweet? Exactly. He was talking about how much he loves me and I just wanted the world to see that.
That is rather unsavory.
I don't want people to know that. That's not true. I hate Kai.
On the record. Oh. It's okay, I understand. An anvil falls from the sky and crushes Hadri.
No!
Flattened like
you love me, damn it.
I just died. Well, come on in. Not a mistake, just a happy little accident. Exactly. It was a little peek behind the curtain. People love that stuff, right? How are you guys all today on this wet and windy Friday evening for us at least?
I'm fucking cold. To put it politely.
Well,
to say
I
the
wouldn't
least.
do that, Reese. I wouldn't and you can love cold, but I wouldn't fuck it.
I did that once, never again.
You know when you get your tongue stuck to like a thing of ice?
Oh my god.
It's bad.
It just stretches.
Keeping
This
dry.
I've seen that game.
That's something unsavoring. That's.
I mean, I love this weather. This is my kind of weather.
Oh, I'm
Rain,
living.
cold.
I'm living.
Cozy up with a book or a movie or some Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What an excellent segue. Hey guys, we're here to play D&D.
We sure are.
Some Dungans and Daggerinos.
Dungans and Daggins. And just in case you guys are tuning in for the first time, Reese pointed out last session that I didn't introduce anybody last session. We just assumed that you knew who we were. So I'm Kai. I will be your humble DM for this evening. And my wonderful party to my left is Beck up the top there, Lachlan next to her, Reese bottom left, and Chris bottom right. If you guys want to introduce your characters, feel free.
I am Beck, and I am playing Rosamina Swiftriver, a gnome rogue.
I am Lachlan, and I'm going to be playing Klaus Gunterberg, a dwarven cleric.
I'm Reese. I will be playing Hadrig, Child of Ilmatar, a half-orc paladin.
And I'm Chris. I'm playing Gabrielle Dudshot Cartier, human archer.
Dudshot. Love it.
Does that mean you're a bad shot or a great shot?
You haven't asked me in character yet.
Yeah. And we don't know yet because he's yet to actually fire a bow in the campaign so far.
Yeah. Well,
Will
set that man a bow.
Will session 5 be the session? Last week you guys got promoted to constables and were allowed to take your real weapons on duty, so...
That's right. I thought it was going to take to level 20 before that happened, but
Yeah.
here we are.
Right.
Well-
Level 20, still using billy clubs. We paid our dues, man.
Yeah, if you can get to level 20 using a billy club, you damn deserve it, I will say.
Other officers are like, man, he's just really skilled with a club.
He's just real good with the stat. Bam! I've always thought it would be cool to have like ever since I think it was like cartoons, it might have been The Simpsons or something, where there was an episode and someone had like a sap, like a little billy club sap blackjack thing, and was just bopping people, and they would immediately fall unconscious as soon as they were hit. And for some reason in my head, I was like, wow, this thing's amazing. You just bop someone lightly and it knocks them out. So I've always wanted one since then.
Oh, in The
When was
Simpsons,
this when you were a child?
the only club I remember from The Simpsons was the snake episode.
Oh, yep. Yep.
Yep. I'm not sure. I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm just telling myself it's The Simpsons because most things that I remember from cartoons in my childhood are The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Someone in chat might remember a cartoon.
Oh,
where someone
no, I
whacking
remember what
people.
it is. I think I remember what it is. I don't remember the episode or the context, but someone takes something and they whack Homer on the back of the head and he goes out like a light. And I just remember that motion because it looked loose, but it immediately knocked him out. No, it was definitely The Simpsons.
I'm pretty sure it was The Simpsons. I
Chair
think
in
you're
the
thinking of
bath.
The same
Chair
scene.
in the bathtub.
So the other thing that happened at the end of last session was that you guys level up to level 2.
Hey!
Hey!
So before we kick things off, we shall go through what you guys want to take with you into level 2, what we're upgrading, what we're improving for each of you. I know Reese has been doing some reading some spells.
Yeah, paladins actually
There's a
get
fair
a
bit.
lot when they hit level 2, so...
Yeah, there's a fair bit to look at there.
Yeah.
But if anyone is ready and wants to talk about what they want to do for level 2, please feel free.
I don't have a lot to do, just because rogues don't have a lot of spells or abilities when you're only 2 levels in. The only thing I need to figure out is how to level up my health. And that requires me to find it in the book. So
Rogues just cast Dagger on Kidney.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty
The most
much.
effective spell.
There
Well,
we
I'll
go.
buy everyone some time, and by that I mean about 10 seconds, because I'm playing a fighter. I leveled up to level 2, I get Action Surge, which means that once per short rest, I can have an extra action at some point on my turn. And I roll for health, and that's it.
Nice.
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 Well,
You know what?
simple.
There's something to be said for nice, simple.
I do like the clean, nice, simple, like,
characters like
fighter
that.
leveling up.
Yep.
Yeah, things get too messy when you have spells.
Everyone multi-class to confuse Kai. Hey, it's their job to keep track of their characters.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Ourselves.
That guy's just not going to ask questions when I'm like, yeah, I get a plus 50 on my attack.
Yeah.
It's an ability.
Because I multi-classed.
I don't think that. Just to let Beck know, Beck, you actually get a really cool ability at level 2 as a level 2 rogue. Some would say you get a cunning ability.
Hang on. I looked. Hang on.
You looked really
Oh
proud
yes,
of yourself
I
there,
get
Reese.
a cunning action. That's correct. At 2nd level, my quick thinking and agility allow me to move and act quickly. I can take a bonus action on each of my turns in combat. This action can be used only to take the dash, disengage, or hide action. So it basically means that in combat, I can choose to run away, not fight anymore, and hide. Maybe not all at the same time, but yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a bonus action.
Fair.
Nice.
Definitely could come in handy. You
You
never know what you're going to
Well.
bump into next in this crazy, crazy city.
True.
Honestly, we don't know. We were left on cliffhanger last week, and we just want to know where these Facilian coins came from.
So,
Right.
We'll go through a recap shortly after you guys are done leveling up here.
Lachlan, did you want to go before me, or do you want me to go?
I can go before you. As a cleric, I got Channel Divinity, so I get to turn undead, and I also get, I haven't written down, classic. I had it here, and I've just copied and pasted it, and I've just lost it. What is it called? It is called Preserve Life. So
Nice.
I've got some cool channeling abilities, which I can really only do once per long rest. But they seem pretty neat, and I'm sure we'll see them in action. Hopefully this session.
Nice. Cool. Well, y'all better bust out the notebook because I got like half a paragraph.
Heck yeah.
I might quickly interject because I know what I need to do, but I'm worried I may have been cheating from day one.
Classic.
Well, it's just because when I built my character sheet, it told me I had 12 hit points. But looking in the book just here for rogues, you get 1d8 plus your constitution modifier. Now, my constitution modifier is 0, so how do I have 12 max hit points?
Yeah, I think you should have had 8.
I think I should have had 8.
Yeah.
Sounds like a very rogue thing to do.
Anyway, I'm just going to make that 8 quickly.
Just gosh darn rogues in that shit.
Retroactively, you fall unconscious during that cart fight.
Yeah, so all it means is that if I wish to, I can take 5 as my health upgrade, or I can roll a d8. And honestly, in this case, I might just take the 5 and go up to 13.
Coward.
Yeah. Look, you know what?
Oh, what a
you know
bloody
what?
legend. Here's
I'll
the
roll it then. Fine. Guess we're rolling.
Here we go. Come on.
Unearthleth, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. You are just in time for the leveling up from level 1 to 2 of our party before we kick off session number 5.
I get 3. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Peer
But
pressure
you
wins
lose
again.
3 hit points.
Because I don't add my constitution modifier.
Classic.
All right, Reese.
So I'm going to quickly run through the things that I get. So first of all, I gain a fighting style, which I get at second level. You adopt a style of fighting as your specialty. Choose one of the following options. You may take a fighting style option more than once, even if you can't take a fighting style option more than once, even if you later get to choose again. So I'll be picking defense. While you are wearing armor, you gain +1 AC. So my AC is going to be 17 going forward. I gain.
Okay.
Hit me, man. Hit me. Wait, I'll pull out a shield, and that will really ruin your day. I'll be 19, and then I'll get Lachlan to cast Shield of Faith on me. Then I'm 21.
You know it.
Time to find
I'm
something
ready.
that only
I'm
needs
ready.
to do touch attacks.
Yeah.
I gain spell casting, so I can now cast spells. And I have 3 spells now prepared. I gain 2 spell slots to cast my 3 level 1 spells. The spells I have chosen are Compel Jewel, Divine Favor, and Detect Magic. And then, finally, I gain Divine Smite. Starting at second level, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack, you can expend 1 spell slot to deal radiant damage to the target. In addition to the weapon's damage, the extra damage is 2d8 for a first level spell slot, plus 1d8 for each spell slot higher than the first, to a maximum of 5d8. The damage increases 1d8 if the target is undead or fiend, to a maximum of 6d8.
So what you're saying is I need to increase the CR of every encounter I've got prepared for you guys.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. You just gave us weapons, man. Let us see how powerful these weapons are. Don't worry about it. Reese is definitely loud enough compared to the music.
I just want to make sure we're not getting drowned out by the music, but...
So I may also be yelling because I'm excited. So yeah, and then I get to roll I believe it's a D10 for my hit points.
Go for it.
Alright, well, let's not fuck this up. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
8.
Hey.
Nice.
Not bad. Not bad.
I'm deeply upset by this.
Oh, poor Beck.
Upset.
So that puts me up to 22.
Also, and at 21,
Oh, wait,
so you
hold
can
on.
drink in America. Well done. And this time,
plus
paying
con,
attention
so
in
that-
armor class. I like it.
I know. Great things happen when you do.
Something to do with my
You
background?
can't see the HP rolls. That's a good point. I can flick us to the table for the next one.
Yeah.
Cool. Who's next for the health roll?
You go then.
Oh no. I don't know if I'm ready.
You
I
can do
know
it.
I always roll so poorly when I do health rolls.
Just roll good.
So let's see. So my hit die is a D8, and obviously you get your Constitution modifier as well. let's see. What's my Constitution modifier? It's 2.
The tense and dramatic
So-
roll.
Here we go.
Oh no, that's a 1. That's a 1.
It's
A 1 plus 2.
yeah, 1 plus 2.
So
Welcome to the squishy side
Yeah.
of town, Lachlan.
added the same amount of hit points as Rosie.
Jeez.
That's terrible.
Nicely done.
It's all right, Lachlan. I'll continue to be the tank.
I'm now up to 13.
Continue
Now
to
just-
stand in the front, Hadric.
Yeah. I'm not
If
just
I-
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, I'm just
If-
really annoyed that D&D Beyond stiffed me.
I am, if I may interject, I seem to recall, and I'm not trying to cheat, that Kye made us take a full hit die and then roll and then get our con at first level. Is that right?
No.
No.
Don't know where I got that from because it looks like I've also cheated as well with my health, and I was wondering.
So
So that's how we
Chris,
were
what
going
I
to do crits.
what I
Hold on,
think-
that's
hang on.
Oh,
I'll
that
just say
crits, was
what
it?
happened with us, Chris,
Yes.
is something I think has gone hinky in D&D Beyond.
You know what?
because-
I think it is because mine's also wrong. I should be on 12, not 14.
I seem to somehow
Are
remember.
you supposed to add your proficiency bonus or something?
No.
No,
that
So
would be
Storm would
correct
come in-
if we did.
the book specifically says hit points at first level is 8 plus your Constitution modifier, which means my hit points for up until this stream should have been 8. However, for whatever reason, when D&D created my character sheet, or D&D Beyond, it gave me 12.
Ah, okay.
How strange.
So it's added something else to it, and I don't know what.
'Cause,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair.
I always thought it was you. Basically, you imagine you rolled the highest possible amount, so 10 for me, and you add your Constitution modifier. But then every subsequent level, if you want to roll, you have to roll. You can't just take,
Yeah.
the highest.
That's
Well, the other thing you can do is you can just choose to take 5 plus your Constitution modifier if you don't want to chance it.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. That's good to know after I already rolled a 1.
Well, Lachlan, that's what I said before I rolled, and then everyone
No,
called
no,
me
no,
a
no.
pussy.
No, I mean,
Fact.
I think we already agreed that we were going to roll.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure
We
the
were gonna do an
agreement
average.
was we
You're
were
pretty much
going to
accurate
roll.
there. I just died. Supposed to cheat as much as possible to mess with the DM. But on
Yep.
the plus side, I also get to cheat, and I can hide my rolls from them. So I can cheat with impunity.
Hell yeah!
Man, I can't believe they've critted 10 times in a row. This is...
Unbelievable.
Anyway, the point is, I think we got misled into thinking that we had higher health than we did. We'll fix it, go from there, and then we'll all live our best lives.
It's
My
fine.
health
I think-
is my health is perfectly fine because my health was 10 and my hit die was an 8. So I just 8 plus my 2. So mine was perfect.
Yeah,
No
I don't know why
cheating
yours was
here.
right and no one else was. Well, there you go.
I can't do maths. That's my excuse.
Okay.
I think
Me
Chris is the
bad at
last.
math.
Chris is the last
We'll
to roll
find out.
his hit points. Is that right?
I'm yet to roll, so I would have started with 10 hit dice plus 2 for my con modifier, so I should be on 12 maximum hit points.
Mhm.
And let's roll and add 2. So the old D8. Sorry, D10.
Go, Chris.
It's not bad.
6.
That's pretty
Nice.
good.
Average.
So
Six
what-
8
what's
two,
your
total.
eight. Cons 2, so 8. I'm up to 20 hit points.
Nice.
I'm
I'm on
jealous.
22 hit points.
I'm jealous. We'll find out in like 2 weeks' time when Lachlan's been cheating all this time, all along.
Must
All
just
along.
be height, tall gang, tall
Why-
hit
Okay.
points.
My longest
Oh,
running
that's
character
wrong.
was a fighter who his whole shtick was that he fought with an axe and a shield, and it was all about 2-weapon fighting between being able to hit with the shield, hit with the axe, hit with the shield. And we found out after we'd finished that campaign, and I'd played him for like 2.5, 3 years, that we were doing 2-weapon fighting wrong, and I was cheating the whole time. So
No, not only were you
In
doing
your defense-
two-handed fighting wrong, you were doing movement and you were doing shield bonuses wrong as well.
But
No,
you
shield
fail
bonuses
to
were
remember
okay.
that his character literally died in that campaign, and we had to spend all that money resurrecting him, bringing him back. So if you weren't cheating, it would have ended a lot sooner. We would have been mushed, I think.
yeah,
I didn't play in that campaign, so I don't know.
Neither did I.
Yeah, hey, Beck! Hey!
So in saying that though, right, you can cheat, but then the DM will just be like, man, they're really like getting through these like challenges. Well, I better make them harder then, right? So like,
Yeah,
There's always a balance somewhere.
Also, by that point in the campaign, everyone else was magic users and could fly and cast Suffocate and kill dragons in one hit. And I was just like, hit the things, hit them hard. And I can't fly, I can't feather fall, I can't do any of this other fancy stuff. So
that must have been the most frustrating thing, because like you would roll for damage and you'd roll maybe like, I don't know, 35 damage in one hit, and everyone would be like, oh, that's so powerful, that's so bullshit OP, I can't believe that. But like you said, like our magic caster could literally just teleport wherever the fuck they wanted and sleep.
Our caster literally suffocated a dragon to death in 3 turns. And everyone's complaining that my axe is too sharp.
I've seen this, like, so, you know, with fighters and stuff, it's like, yeah, they can hit things constantly, but like magic users will use shatter and just kill something for 100 damage in one shot, no problem, no mischance.
When I was a bard in my last campaign, I had a spell that's called Cloud of Daggers, although I like to call it the NutriBullet, and I would always start it on a point where a big enemy was standing. So it literally just razor bladed enemies.
Brilliant. That's so good.
Moron has definitely got a point. Statistically, taking the non-roll is better from a HP standpoint, but it's
for sure.
It's less good from a haha, look at you, you roll a 1 standpoint.
Look when he rolled a 1.
Everyone pointed him and laugh.
I
mean, taking averages,
Reese did it.
Taking average is always good, but you know, there's always fun. It's like
you gotta roll. Like Chadwick Rumble Rod probably rolls every level. That's how much bad he is.
Chadwick Rumble Rod definitely rolls every roll.
Can take the average
for sure.
So the only thing is, when you're doing your characters, I think point buy is the best system for building characters.
Yeah.
Versus rolling. I've never rolled a character in a very long time. Like I think I had 2 or 3 characters where we rolled characters, and never again. It just, the party becomes so disproportionate that it's not that enjoyable.
Yeah. Josh the Pirate, welcome on in. Just
hey!
About to kick off our recap, and then session number 5. Can you believe it? We're 5 whole sessions in. This was originally supposed to be like a 6 to 8 session campaign, but it might be a little bit longer than that at this point.
What?
Because we keep dragging our feet.
You guys are so slow.
We only just
wait.
after all.
I thought this was going to go for like 7 years. What?
Yeah, also, we're only going to play on Good Fridays, and I'm pretty sure Kai wanted us to be up to the section we're in the first session, so, you know, let's have it.
I mean, I just find it funny that Kai didn't read his contract where we did sign him on for a minimum 10 years D&D game. And you're just sitting here being like, I only planned it to be like 6 sessions.
The contract was an entire ream of paper. I skimmed it. I don't know what I agreed to.
Look, man, we make it a novel so we can hide stuff in there. That's.
Lord Basil says Chadwick pays for the loot chest dice plus 5 modifiers using his rich dad's gold. That's why he's so strong.
And then tells everyone that it's skill.
I just bought the 50 loot pack. Like the $50 loot pack.
Wait, you thought they do stuff you plan in a timely manner? Silly DM. Fact. Highest contract just 10 Magic the Gathering games on stream per year. You couldn't pay me enough, Tom.
I think we got our 10 games worth the last time you played, and you found out that trample and not trample are not the same thing.
And the instance.
What, did you get fog banked?
Yeah.
Did you get fog banked? Is that what happened?
I don't remember.
No, it was better than that.
I don't remember the specifics.
He had an avatar whose power and toughness was equal to his life total, which of course is 40. So he's attacking, I think it was Reese, to one-shot him. Reese blocks, and then he sacks the blocking creature. And then Kai's like, oh, fucking sweet, good game. And he extends his hand for the handshake. And Reese is like, what are you doing? Like, I blocked it. I don't take 40 damage, you know? And Kai learned that day.
Yeah, it was like a 40-40 with trample. But apparently he can be like...
it didn't have trample.
Oh, no, it didn't have trample. But he was like, yeah, go stand in front. And then I killed you, but somehow that blocks the... Anyway, this isn't a magic stream. This isn't a magic stream. The magic stream is tomorrow, so if you want to play Lawyers the game, Chris and Reese are going to be playing tomorrow, along with Billy and Tom. So And it's a D&D themed
Yeah.
set. We'll talk more about that at the end, though, when we talk
It
about
is,
upcoming
yeah,
things.
I'm excited.
Question,
I just
how big
died.
would you say your group would need to be at minimum to be able to play a smooth game of D&D? Honestly, I played one-on-ones, which were good fun. I've played with 2 players and 1 DM, and that was a really, really fun campaign. As long as the game is taking into account the number of players, it really isn't that big a deal. I think you can get... It's easier to get too many players than too few.
Yeah. I would say 3 to 4, personally.
I mean, that's the ideal party, right? Is a 3 to 4.
The original, like the campaign I keep referencing here, when we first started playing, we actually had 7 characters that we were playing with.
That's too many.
But
No.
2
Too
people
many.
a couple of months after we started basically were like, we can't commit to coming anymore, so we're not going to. So what it meant was we dropped down to 5.
Nice.
I think our big thing with that was our DM also had the habit of having a lot of NPCs that would need to fight as well. So we often found that when we were in combat, which was a lot, it was just a lot of sitting and waiting and being like,
Yeah. I try. Welcome on in, Juniofi, by the way. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
We're about to start. Good timing. We just are getting distracted on tangents because we do that. I tried running it. Speaking of too bigger party, I tried to run a pirate campaign that I think Lachlan and Chris, you guys were both in the first session of, and there was
I was not in.
There was I
The only
think 8
session you
players and me, and that immediately got out of hand from literally the first moment of the game. And never again. I don't think I'll ever DM for a group that big again. I'd far
It was
prefer...
a great idea on paper. It was all going smoothly. Personally, I think your choice of the players might have perhaps played a role.
Maybe.
But, yeah, no.
I find the bigger the group, the more experienced players you should be playing with.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one, other than like a one-off where we did like maybe 8 or 9 people just because it depended on who rocked up. The biggest, longest running one that we did was 6, which would sometimes blow out to 7. But we all played regularly. We were all experienced, so we never had a lot of that downtime between people sorting stuff out.
Yep.
Though we did a lot of weird things in that, like we actually rolled initiative every round for combat, and like we were playing a super hardcore game of D&D.
Yeah, right.
That was DM'd by Mitch Earnshaw, so he was he was like, I want to do a fifth ed game, but like I want to do it hardcore. So like we actually did need to factor in the weight of coins and loot and stuff like that. And there was a lot of cool things in doing it that way, but there was also a lot of things that I was like, oh, I'm never incorporating this into my game. Yeah. But yeah, when you've got 6, and I think we're all level 12 as well. So you got 6 players, level 12, but that's just like
doing 5 attacks
bang,
per
bang,
turn.
bang, bang, bang. Because he'd only give us 6 seconds. Like, if you could not tell him when it got to your turn what you were doing in 6 seconds, he'd skip your turn and go to the next person. So we had to be on the ball.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
move.
Welcome on in,
great
Upside Down
wall.
Fairy. Thanks for joining us. We're doing well. We're excited to get started. Stormo DM'd the first game, had everything planned out, all encounters, and then another player joined as we were about to play and ruined the encounters and plan.
Yep.
D&D is improvisation plus math.
Yeah.
Plans will definitely go awry in the most creative ways you never would have thought of until the players come up with something. No D&D plans survive encounters with the players.
no.
Alrighty. Well, with the leveling up done, I think we're going to flick on over to the old tablet. Do I pronounce it that way as a joke every time? I think I do.
I think so.
It's so funny though and original.
I know, right? Well, let's just start playing some 5th edition D&D, or the 5th installment of Dungeons and Dragons.
Which is actually the 8th version of Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah.
that's ever been made.
I also feel like it's important to warn you guys. Where we are is currently very, very stormy, or about to get a lot worse than it is now. So if we do drop out suddenly, it's because someone lost power, and it was probably Kye.
Yeah, if one of them disappears, they lost power. If we all disappear, I lost power.
Yep.
And
Let's see what the old radar says.
this will be one of the first
That looks bad.
largish
That looks
storms
very
of the
bad.
season, so Western Power might not be ready. So
Bro, I had hail and my one of our outdoor rooms completely flooded. So I'm like,
man.
Wow.
you
Yeah.
go baby.
So, fair warning, we are possibly going to end up underwater. But
Nice.
assuming we don't, we shall be kicking off. Would you guys like to recap the last session for us?
Oh boy.
First thing that happened was that we were on our way to a riot or some sort of kerfuffle that had broken out within Rolands Landing, woken up hastily by the sergeant, and we all marched down there. And upon arriving on the scene, the sergeant told us that he would be headed up to a landing to get a better viewpoint, but it was up to us to sort of mingle amongst the crowd and intervene. And that was where we discovered an altercation between a human and his posse versus two gnomes who had sort of rebelliously blocked the road towards the docks to stop trade and stage a protest.
So yeah, there was 3 humans and 3 gnomes, and they were having a little bit of a shouting match at each other while the crowd followed them around. We got to the scene. Hadrig and myself pushed our way through the crowd as fast as we could. Rosefina and Gabrielle sort of stood back, and Rosie tried to climb a man but was unsuccessful before going under the legs and joining in the inner circle of the crowd where all the commotion was happening. And we were trying to diffuse the situation to calm everyone down. There was 2 sides of the story, but neither one wanted to hear the others. Things got a little bit spicy when I finally decided that I was going to take in the ringleader into custody when they started to attack us, which then the humans decided they would also get in on the action. Hadrig and myself managed to cuff one of the gnomes, so then we had him in custody. And did we get the second one?
Yeah.
There were
And then
there were 3. We got
There
2
was 3?
gnomes and 1 escaped.
One got
Yep.
away. Rosie, how did that happen?
I can't remember exactly how it happened, but I failed many rolls, and I went to throw my club at him to stop him, like to try and bonk him from a distance, and instead I
Don't throw your club.
failed.
Not all your
Failed.
fault, though. The acquaintance you made.
Yeah,
Timothy
I got
may have
distracted.
distracted you.
I got distracted by Timmy, whomst we met the episode before, as he and his patron, I guess is what you would call him, were entering the city. But he handed me a note.
So love struck that you can't even recall his patron's name.
I remember his name, but the point of this recap is not to recap the previous episode, like the episode before this one. So
you
I
say
decided
that,
to.
But what happened after you guys had diffused the riot?
So we took the guilty parties at play here to the watch house to stay the night and think about what they did, to cool off, as it were. And since we'd done such an exceptional job, we were told we could, oddly enough, I don't know why they said it, but they were like, you guys leveled up. So we got a promotion. We were... So we were...
say we've been promoted.
The captain turns around and he just says, ding, and puts a thumbs up, and we're like, nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
But we got promoted, so we were allowed to take our own weapons and equip them ourselves. So now we are sharply equipped.
You're trusted
Sharply
with your
equipped
deadly weapons.
members of the watch. And I decided it was time for us to investigate the note as well.
Hadrian, what did the note say? What did you guys do?
So the note said to us to go meet both Marin and Tim at Farrow Lane. So we arrived to the location, knocked on the door, and there was no response. We looked in the window, and there was nothing moving. And then we noticed that the door seemed to have been broken. Someone had broken the hinge to be able to get in.
Incorrect.
Oh,
You and Lachlan were about to smash every door and window in that house.
We don't need to.
You were ready to smash every door and window in that house, and then I decided to just try opening the door.
Hey,
and then we
I
discovered
remember
the door
the name
was broken.
of the guy that I'm about to reveal.
I knew what his name was.
So we go into the house, and then we find Marin, our pink-haired friend, dead on the floor.
DED.
Our first DED, dead banana bread. Our first dead body. We've been thrown into the deep end. So we began investigating the crime scene, where Rosie almost threw up on the body.
It was yucky.
Yeah.
Yucky.
Rosie and Gabrielle were looking at the body and they're like, "Yeah, he's dead."
Yeah, he's not alive.
Hey, without that, we would never have ascertained he was dead, right?
Yeah, it might have just been sleeping.
critical.
He's
Police
sleeping.
work.
He's doing the long sleep. So Hadrig and what's Lachlan's character? Klaus. Hadrig and Klaus went upstairs to investigate further. In which case, marinating in red soup. Jesus Christ.
That's a good phrase.
We're not supposed to be talking in chat, but that was funny as hell.
That's good. That's good. Chat got some bangers. So we went upstairs, and investigating upstairs, we looked in the smaller bed, and there was a pouch of coins, which the coins were Vasilin coins.
Dun dun dun.
Tim was nowhere to be found, so at the moment, our number one suspect is Tim the Gnome.
Actually, our number one suspect, if you're racist, is Tim the Gnome.
What? Who else is your suspect? Beck, please
Enlighten
tell us.
Innocent until proven guilty. And
Beck
y'all are like,
is
Just because you're a suspect doesn't mean that you're not innocent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what suspect means. It just means you're suspected.
y'all are being racist, and I do not abide.
Beck, you cannot let your feelings get in the way of the job.
So yeah, that's a pretty accurate recap. After defusing the riot by arresting the gnomes that were staging the protest, you guys went to check in on Marin and Timothy. The note that you received was actually from Marin. Well, it was on behalf of Marin that it was delivered, and it said that he was requesting your presence in his workshop as soon as soon as possible. Which you guys did, to your credit. You got here as soon as you could. You were busy keeping the peace, but unfortunately, too late to see Marin alive. Found him lying in a pool of blood.
Red suit. Pool of red suit.
Yeah. Was it the same color as his hair? No.
You guys have begun
Close.
tossing the room. We kind of stopped before you'd finished inspecting everything because we were out of time, and finishing on a cliffhanger is,
fun.
It's fun. It's good. Kept you guys hooked, right? That's why you're all here this week.
Oh yeah.
It's just good storytelling, really.
I mean, that's why I came back. That's
I just have to know about the coins.
the box.
What's in the box?
Now, remind me, was it Klaus or Hadric that found the pouch?
It was Klaus. Klaus found the couch. Klaus found the pouch.
Yep.
Hadric identified the coins.
Right. So you guys are both looking at the pouch.
Yeah.
You've identified that these coins are Facilin in origin. But as you continue emptying the pouch, you find that the coins aren't the only things in the pouch. At the bottom tumbles out a small amulet on a thin golden chain. The amulet itself is what appears to be a stone, a gem, a crystal of some kind, and it seems to be glowing with a faint sort of inner light, and it's got what looks to be gold sort of wrapped around it, holding the stone in place on this thin golden chain.
Nice.
Does it look like a D20?
Sure, why not? It's a dodecahedron. Can you say
Dodecahedron?
Dodecahedron. Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear.
Cool. We don't know what the gem is at all.
You can make me a religion check if you would like, or you can make me a... what would be the best check to determine?
Well, religion, investigation, and I could also make you a dwarf check if you'd like.
A dwarf
Oh, yes, because it's a gem.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah. I also would like to make it clear I have dark vision.
This is the soonest into a session anyone has brought up dark vision. New record.
Within 5 minutes, the speed run.
With my dwarven dark vision, can I make a religion check? Bam.
You can make a religion check,
Here
or
it
you
comes.
can make a insight check.
There it is.
Say insight or investigation to identify the stone.
You get a whopping 8 for religion.
My insight's better, so we'll go insight for me.
Mine was
a
the same.
10. Same.
Hadrig, if you're sorry, go Rosie.
I was just gonna say, unable to stand the smell of blood and buffoonery, walk upstairs.
Sure.
I walk upstairs, and I see the gentleman holding, because I also have dark vision. You see,
it's not dark.
That's why
I see them holding the amulet, and a part of me thinks, what did the amulet that the first gnome we encountered on our first day of the job look like?
Mm-hmm. I thought
did it
was
look
a coin.
like that? No, he had a.
So the
special
amulet from the first day was a religious, was actually a religious amulet. So it had the, I have it written down. It was an amulet of Gelith, Draketh. Yep, sure.
Gelf Darkhearth.
Yep, Dark Heart.
Yep, that is.
And that wasn't even close.
That's what I have written here. That is correct.
To clarify, on your first day, you found in a loose in an evidence locker, not with the evidence for the gentleman you were interrogating, but you found an amulet of Gelf with an F, Darkhearth, which was a broken anvil. Was the amulet. The one that you're looking at now is some sort of crystal wrapped in gold. Hadrig, your insight check is enough to tell you that it's probably some sort of high quality glass or other clear crystal, not a diamond like it's cut to appear as.
This is high quality glass.
But Rosie, as Hadrig is inspecting it, you come to the top of the stairs and see the gentleman looking at the amulet.
Okay. Well, since I'm at the top of the stairs, I'll have a quick look. I really needed a break from the smell of dead downstairs, so it's actually quite nice up here. Obviously, being the investigators that we are, we should probably try and figure out what happened to Tim. Not Tim. Yeah, no, Tim. My brain went to Terry from the first episode. But,
there's a dead body downstairs.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
Or is it?
So...
Gabriel's never alone with the corpse.
Hey, couldn't do it.
Just
now that
open it with a pencil, just...
I'll watch it.
Alright, Reggie, you gonna try your hand at investigating such an amulet?
Yeah, just because I'm seeing like a desk over well, I mean, I was thinking of just investigating the room, although I do have a pretty good insight check, so I could probably have a look at the amulet to see if I know anything about it. If you guys are so stumped by it.
I mean, I already looked at that like table over there. I've kind of like made my way around, and then I found it in the bed. So be my guest and go have a look. But I feel like we've already searched the room.
Also, I just want... Jesus
Hey.
Christ. I just wanted to make it clear I wasn't stumped
Natural
by
20.
it. I determined that it was some sort of cut glass or crystal. Other than that, it's just a necklace.
Well, it's an amulet.
So what? You rolled again. You did a second roll. Got a nat 20.
No, that was Kye that rolled. Oh, wait, no.
No, that was.
Oh, no, that was me. Sorry, that wasn't... I accidentally clicked. That wasn't...
Oh, I thought that was your only roll.
Rose, if
Okay.
you want to have a look at the amulet, you can roll me a religion check.
Okay, I'll do a check on the amulet, since I've come upstairs and wondered if it's the same one from
You can do it
our
with
first day in.
advantage as well, Rosie.
Oh.
What is that?
So
Because she's a gnome.
First roll is an 11.
Mhm.
Our second roll... I'm guessing, by the way, my cat is sitting in front of my chat, so I can't see what it adds together as. And it's
11.
religion.
What's your first roll?
Cha. And our
Your second
second
roll
roll is 16.
Nice.
Either of those would have been enough. Just more than 8 would have been good. To identify this as an amulet of Segojan Earthcaller, who is the
Can you please spell that?
prominent
Tap that
gnome religion in the city.
Okay.
Segojan, Segojan.
Yep.
Earthcaller. Earthcaller.
And can you spell Earthcaller, please?
No.
Ring, ring. Hello, it's Gaia.
He is
Damn
the
Earth callers calling at 6 p.m. when we're having dinner.
is the gnome deity of earth and nature. He's a neutral good gnome, and has the largest following of the gnome population of the city.
Alrighty. So, that is quite interesting. That, I guess, relaying it to the gentleman, I also sort of say, I wonder if that means that Tim is originally from the city. Because I don't believe myself to be a very religious gnome, but obviously being in the city for as long as I have, can I think of any places where they do worship Segojan, like any temples for Mr. Earthcaller?
Yeah, I mean, just about everyone in the city with even a passing interest in religion or the gnome community would know that there is a pretty large church up on Radiant Row, which is sort of the religious quarter of the city. It's
Sorry, you said Radiant Road?
Radiant Row. Yeah.
Radiant Road.
Which is unusual in that it's the only gnomish religion that has a church up in that area of the city, because it is quite a high class area of the city. There's large churches of Lathander and Ilmater up there as the two big religions among the humans of the city, as well as a few other smaller temples for other less popular deities. But this one for Segojan up there is the only one that caters to the gnome worshippers.
Is there any way to tell if this particular amulet potentially came from there, or not really?
Give me a... Well, I mean, you've already rolled religion. To be honest, with that check, you're probably not, especially not being particularly religious yourself, you're probably not too sure if there's a particular style or type that's worn by that church. You don't wear one yourself, so you're not really...
Maybe we should search the room and head over to this church, so then we can ask around. If Tim is from the city, then maybe someone from the church knows him or knows where he could be.
It's definitely a good idea. A part of me is also wondering if the local gnomish pub or tavern might also yield where we may find Tim. Or if anyone knows who he's been talking to or anything like that.
Well, do you want to head to the pub and...
I would like to do
we can-
I'd like to do an improper investigation of downstairs, because I just came up here for a breath of fresh air and, being the good helper that I am.
Which is a good segue into Gabriel. You've been left downstairs alone with the body.
Yeah, charming.
While everyone upstairs is having a conversation, you're not sure quite what about. What would you like to do while you're downstairs on your lonesome?
Well, if the image that I'm looking at in front of me is anything to give away, there seems to be a desk with sort of ledgers and scrolls and books. I seem to remember you mentioning that the one near the stairwell, that one there. I'm just going to have like a little poke around and see if I can't come across anything interesting. Yeah,
definitely. Give us a either an investigation or a
5, I'm afraid.
You start rummaging through the notes. Quite a lot of it is just total gibberish to you. There's a lot of what you assume are scientific terms and calculations that go way over your head, and you're not too fussed. The only thing that catches your eye slightly is a scrap of paper that is only about the size of like a business card. That sort of where it has been torn, you can only make out the words "effective weapon."
Ooh. Okay. I'll pocket that. I'll have a look at it later in better lighting conditions and when I'm more focused.
Sure. Anything else downstairs you want to have a...
I'm just going to have another once over of the body. I'm not looking for like wounds or I'm not a mortician, but just like any insignia on the guy's clothing. Maybe I can like ascertain that, his some part of his clothing might give away like where he's been or
phone number in his underwear,
his stature.
Give us an investigation or a perception of the corpse.
Investigation yields a 4. I'm good at this detective thing.
As Chris is investigating the body, I do start my descent back downstairs to come and give him a hand. Although I can't seem to move my character, so
apparently I didn't give you guys permission to.
Yeah, none of us can
on this map.
Okay.
Look smart,
which is
my
mistake.
Ain't no look smart here.
Gabriel, you start kind of prodding at the body, but you're trying to avoid getting your hands bloody, and you kind of lift one flap of his cloak. Maybe there's something in his pocket. I don't know. It's all a bit sticky.
Yep. There's too much red soup here. I'll just leave it. It's probably not important. Plus, there's other people that are way better at this than I am.
The contents of the body's pocket probably isn't important.
Yeah.
Watchman of the year.
Found a wallet. There's nothing in it.
Klaus Heydrich, looking around upstairs, you sort of feel like you've searched most of the major areas of the room.
Yep. So if we've searched everything up here and we can't find anything else, then we're going to head back downstairs, or I'm going to head back downstairs and meet up with Josephine and Gabrielle.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do like maybe one last look over the room in general, I guess.
To make sure you haven't left like your keys behind, your swords.
Secret passages.
Just wanting the chance to roll a 20 on nat perception. Let's go. 13.
Not bad.
It's not horrible. The only thing that jumps out at you as you cast your eye over the room again is the odd lantern in the corner that seemed to be a steady light rather than a flickering one. Seems to be maybe a bit more accentuated now that the candles are almost burnt down to their absolute stubs and are starting to wane a little bit. That lantern in the bottom left corner is not particularly bright, but it's a steady light source that's not flickering.
Noticing the lanterns coming in and then like looking at it now coming out, I'm like, I might take one of these lanterns. So I'd like to pocket the lantern over here in the corner. I can't ping.
You have to hold it.
You walk over to the table, grab the lantern and pick it up. As you do, you get a shock run through your hand as you grab the handle. and the light flickers and goes out.
Okay, well, I'll still take the lantern. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Get zapped, bro.
You have a look at the lantern. It seems to kind of rattle a little bit when you pick it up. It's kind of an odd lantern. But, yep, you chuck the strange lantern into your inventory.
Inventory.
And then I go downstairs.
Cool. Joining the others downstairs, Gabriel is gingerly prodding at the body.
I'm just... Because I know when we first entered this house, I was too taken aback by the dead corpse on the floor. I would like to do as Reese has... Or do as Hadrake has done upstairs and just do a quick investigation just to make sure we're not missing anything that's standing out. So I'll... My brain is like, do an investigation of the room, but I'm like, maybe I should just be a bit more specific. I think I would like to just have another quick look on this
Sure.
little side table here, just to be sure, and then I'll also help Gabriel with prodding the body.
Sure. Give us an investigation on the papers to start with.
Team.
16. It's pretty good. Rummaging through it, there's a lot that, again, doesn't make sense to you because it's a bit too scientific. But you do notice a drawing, an illustration that seems to be the jar that you looked at earlier, or rather when Marin was coming into the city, that shocked, I think it was Gabriel as he touched it. That Marin had called a bourgeois jar. There's a drawing of that kind of taking up half of a page, and then on the other half of the page is the drawing of some kind of contraption that appears to have several of these jars along, sort of arranged in a line with something connecting them. And these appear to be sitting on the side of some large, or rather long, tube.
Good old batteries.
Okay. Well, I choose to keep that because it could be important. I may not understand it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't mean something.
Yeah. While Rosie's having a look at that, do you guys want to do anything else? Is anyone checking out the body?
Yeah. What was in the center table next to his body?
No one's looked yet. Give us an investigation or a perception.
Yes. I think they're the same, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go investigation. That is
Natural 20. 23.
Grow hawks out of your eyes.
No one's looked at this table. Guys, why has no one looked at this table over here?
You managed to pull your eyes away from the gory sight on the floor in front of you. Maybe that's why everyone was distracted by that. And the table itself is kind of empty, which I guess is why it didn't catch anyone's attention straight away. But looking at it more closely, you can see what appears to be several brackets or clamps of some description mounted to a side on the table, only separated by about half a foot, but they appear to be set up to hold something in the center of the table that is fairly long and thin, but there's nothing in that space at the moment, just the clamps that would have once held it in place.
And how many jars are on the other table?
You haven't seen any of the jars.
Okay.
Rosie found a drawing that had 4 jars in a line that appeared to be connected somehow, and then attached to some sort of device.
And this looks to be like the contraption that those jars go into, right?
Well, this is just a series of clamps that look like they were set up to hold something on the workbench, but whatever that something is, it's not there now.
Right. Interesting. So,
what was what was the drawing that Rosie picked up again?
It was a long tube Now, I don't know how they are connected, because while Kye is a masterful wordsmith, my brain is no good at making pictures out of letters. But there are a row of jars, like the Marin jars, or Bourgeois jars, rather, connected to each other in some way, all mounted on a tube. So the way that I have it sort of pictured in my brain is, I'll see if I can draw it, but it's like a cylinder on its side with a bunch of like
cylinders on top.
I'll see if I can.
Like, you can tell me how wrong this is, because I've like that.
The idea that Reese is having at the moment is
Look at
that
my terrible drawing.
there's supposed to be
trying to draw terrible, terrible illustrations right now.
Yeah. So there's supposed to be the cylinder is supposed to be in the clamps, and the lanterns are supposed to be on the table. This is what Reese is thinking. Hedrig's like, a dead body. So
Okay, I think.
So I'm drawing on the map the terrible, and it's too small to probably make out properly. But
hang on, I'll show you what I had then.
There's 4 jars strapped together. This is just making it worse.
What are we doing?
Ta-da.
okay.
Sort of. So the jars are mounted at the bottom. Hang on, I'm going to clear that and I'll draw it bigger.
Okay.
So you had it at the top, right?
Yeah, so mine's the gold. So there's a long, thin cylinder of some description.
Yep.
And then, let's do a different color. There's 4 of these jars. With the little pipe sticking out the top that you saw.
Okay.
And these all appear to be connected together. And there's this long, sort of thin tube.
Interesting. Okay.
That's kind of close enough to what I'm trying to get across.
Yeah.
It's like a mace.
Rail gun. Is it hollow?
I mean, you're looking at a drawing.
Hollow?
It's a drawing.
Hang on.
The drawing is hollow.
I think I'm the stupidest gnome on the planet. Hold on a second. As a gnome, like, we are tinkerers. Like, as a gnome, can I try and do a check on it to see if I can kind of figure out what it is?
Sure. Are you a tinkerer?
No. Maybe not, but I thought I'd ask.
Make me an insight roll with disadvantage.
Okay. I'll just roll insight twice. So our first one is 14. And, whoops. Just drew on the map.
Oh, sick.
Nice.
And my second one is 13.
13. You can't be 100% sure about what the device is. From what you can tell, it seems to be harnessing the power of multiple of those jars, which hold some sort of energy, and funneling it into whatever this tube is.
Alright. So there's no sight in this building of the jars or the tube.
So you...
Now that we've seen the picture,
yeah, I mean...
I would like to go back upstairs, do a look around the room and see if there's any of these items.
Sure. You did notice a lot of the crates had glass objects in them. You didn't look too closely. Some of those may have been the jars, especially disassembled. As for the tubes, there's a lot of copper tubing laying around. So looking around, you think that there's probably the raw materials to put together something that looks roughly like this.
All right.
I think we better go and search for this Timothy. I mean, if anyone's going to know what this contraption is and can explain what it does, it'll be him, right?
I think even if we did find the individual items, we have no idea what we're playing around with, and I, for one, do not want to blow myself up trying to figure out what this is.
I'm with Hadrig on that.
Yeah.
let's maybe report the body and chase up a lead.
Look, maybe there wasn't even a murder. He's a mad scientist that blew himself up.
Good point.
Yeah,
Come help. My master has blown himself up. Also, I'm not here to help you guys.
Yeah, I think we've done an acceptable search of the house. I say, do as Hadric said, we'll report the body. It's probably not worth heading to a tavern, so we should probably just head to the church where this amulet comes from.
Very well.
Yep. I reckon we head off over to the church and see if anyone knows this Timothy character.
Sure, so the four of you are leaving Marin's workshop?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We have, police tape, crime scene, do not enter.
No, if we just pull the door closed, no one's going to open it because they'll think they have to bust it down.
I mean, that already happened once.
I just, look, I feel like it could be worth etching something into the door saying crime scene, but also there's a really big part of me that wants to etch don't open, dead inside. But that's fine. It's a perfectly good door. There's no point destroying it. Although
if you
it has
guys stumbled across a door that said do not enter, I mean, that just makes you want to enter more.
Yeah, it just makes you want to enter. Let's head past the watch house and inform the Sarge.
Yeah.
And if it's up to us to take care of this, then we can always swing past sometime today and clear things up.
I say we'll go to the watch house first. We'll report what we've found, just so that the city is aware of what's going on. Because I think it's important to note that a potential weapon could be out on the loose. Because that's what I think this is. I think it's a potential weapon, and we need to be careful.
Makes sense.
Sounds good.
All right.
To the watch
Head back
house.
to the watch house.
So in agreement, you guys pull the door shut and make your way back to the watch house. Entering, you see the sergeant sitting behind the front desk, scrawling away on some parchment. Back already? Run your personal errand, did you? Did you find what you were expecting?
We didn't find what we were expecting, Sergeant, but what we did find instead was something a little bit more grim. You see, a body, someone who's been murdered, turned up somewhere within the Ilabar district.
Well, it's not an uncommon occurrence for people to die around here, I'm afraid. But if you've stumbled across it, I guess that makes it our problem.
Sir, it's a bit concerning as well. We think we've found plans for what I can only assume is something nefarious. And that his assistant is missing, and he only entered the city yesterday, and it feels hinky, sir.
Hinky? Well,
Hinky.
Lay it on me. What do you got so far?
So, his name is Marin Bourgeois. He entered the city yesterday with his assistant, Timmy. I didn't get a last name. They entered with a whole host of contraptions and machinery to create, not sure what exactly, but use some form of science, I guess is what you would
nonsense.
call it. Yeah. It seemed like a party trick, sir, but I think it's what got him murdered.
Right. So, messing about with some magic or something he shouldn't have been, right?
In essence, yes.
The only concerning thing is, sir, his assistant had a coin full of had a pouch full of Fusilin coins in his bed, and an amulet for a church in Religious Row. No, Radiant Row. Sorry.
Purse full of Fusilin coins, huh? Well, I got to say, when you said the name Bourgeois, that sounds Fusilin to me, but there's plenty of people of Fusilin descent in the city. That in itself isn't a crime. But to have Fusilin coins, especially in any large quantities, certainly on the suspicious side. They're generally not accepted by the majority of businesses in the city. So you suspect what? His assistant killed him?
With your permission, Sergeant Chaplin, we should like to find that out. I know we have duties here at the Watchhouse, but if we can track down this Timothy, whoever he might be, we could probably get some answers for you.
Well, tracking down this sort of thing is exactly why we hired you. If you think you've got any leads, follow them up and come to me when you've got more. If you need help with anything, let me know and I'll do what I can.
Yes, sir.
Sir, are we gonna send anyone out to secure the house to make sure nothing gets disturbed?
I mean, the time it took for you to walk back here, it's probably been broken into and looted, knowing this place. But the
at least to get rid of the body.
The corporal
you gotta spruce the house up, get it back on the market, remove the pile of blood.
The corporal and I will go take a look, see if there's anything you missed. No offense, but it is your third day.
None taken, sir.
We'll organise clean up or anything else that needs to happen.
Thank you, Sergeant. That would be great.
Very helpful.
Right. Well,
sir, yes, sir. Salute.
Be careful.
We should head over to the church.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Oh, so leaving the sergeant, he starts heading upstairs as you guys are walking out the door. You guys you're making your way up to the northeast side of the city, up to Radiant Row. It's not an area of the city that most of you would probably spend a lot of time. The north side of the city is by far the higher class side of the city, rather than houses built one on top of the other in any available space. Here you've got reasonably large sized houses, some with actual yards or at the very least space around them where there aren't other buildings sharing walls. The roads are cleaner, the people are a lot more well dressed and a lot more affluent looking. You draw a few sort of glances as you make your way through the north side of the city. This isn't your usual stomping ground, and the watchmen that these people usually see on duty are probably a bit more well dressed and different looking. Alpha Squad comes to mind.
Yeah.
But you soon make your way up to Radiant Road and are easily able to find the church of... now I've lost his name.
Segojan,
thank you.
Earthcaller. Segojan Earthcaller.
It's a large, fairly humble-looking building made of stone. No gaudy decorations on the exterior, but its size and its sort of imposing, well, not imposing, but impressive architecture gives either of the churches to either side of it a run for their money.
Well, this is the place, is it, Rosie?
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. Just making note of its architecture. Well, might as well head in. We'll start trying to figure out if we can find Timmy.
Yeah, let's go talk to some of the clerics or priests and see if they know of Timothy. Let's press on.
You guys head inside. As you enter, you're somewhat surprised to find it's quite light or well lit inside, despite its sort of imposing appearance from the outside. High windows up on the walls let in the natural light.
So we don't need dark vision in here.
Fucking hell!
No,
damn it! Every time,
Gabriel is able to see the main area of the church has raw wooden pews leading from back to front in 2 rows. However, they are sized for small creatures. They appear to be designed for gnomes. As you enter, there's a few scattered gnomes sitting at the pews or with the, bowing their heads in prayer. And as your somewhat heavier footfalls start down the aisle, a few look up and have to sort of do a double take when they see 3 non-gnomes in the church. But none of them say anything. They just kind of look up and dismiss you and go back to their prayers. Standing at the front of the church facing away from you is a woman, a female gnome dressed in fairly... what's the word I'm looking for? Not extravagant, but very pure, clean, white robes that, to you, scream important religious person.
I was just muted because the feeding of the wild beasts is a very loud thing, apparently. I just sort of indicate for the others to wait for a second, and I approach the lady, the gnomish lady, very gingerly, and just sort of introduce myself.
Sure. As you get within a few steps, she turns around. She has sort of salt and pepper hair. Looks like it was once black but starting to grey, done up in a tight bun behind her head. She turns around, smiling, looks at you and says, "Welcome, child, to the Church of Segojan Earthcaller, and welcome to your friends as well." And she kind of gives you guys a bit of a wave over Rosie's head. It's... How can I be of assistance to you this fine day?
Ma'am, you may be able to tell from our uniforms, but we're members of the Watch, and we're actually just looking for someone we're hoping may be a member of your congregation. We don't have a last name, but we believe his name is Timothy. We found an amulet amongst his things, and we'd like to return it.
Timothy, well, I can't say the name rings a bell, but while we have a large number of regulars here, we do have people pass through as well that don't visit often enough for us to necessarily get introduced. But why don't you and your friends come and join me in my office, and we can talk about whatever you need.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
She leads you through a door in the back of the building. Quite a large door. It's big enough for you all to walk through quite easily. And she leads you into an office with a desk and several chairs made from, it looks like the same raw timber as the pews outside. Very basic. She sits on the far side of the desk and gestures to the seats in front of you. Apologies, we don't get a lot of taller folk in here, and I'm afraid my office may not be the most accommodating for the three of you, but please make yourselves as comfortable as you can.
I comfortably sit in one of the seats.
I opt to stand, as I'm probably one of the tallest people in the party.
Thank you, man. This is quite a fine church that you have here.
Oh, thank you. We know it's not the quite up to the standard of those of Lathander and Ilmater in the city, but it's more than enough for our humble needs. So, what is it that I can help you with? You have an amulet of some description?
Yeah, Rosie, take it out and see if it's a match.
I do believe that Hadrig up in the back has it.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Come on.
So I pull it out and I go, here you go, ma'am. This is a amulet that we found.
See.
And I hold the amulet out to... Do we get her name? I don't think we got her name.
No.
Or am I dumb?
No name yet.
Okay. So I'm just like, here you go, ma'am.
Apologies. Nemo is my name. I'm so sorry. I'm so used to the people around here knowing who I am, but of course I shouldn't expect you to. Nemo. And you four?
Well, I'm Rosie. I'm a city local. I'm just not one for religion, which is why you don't know me. Don't worry about it.
I am Klaus, Nemo. Pleasure to meet you.
I am Hadrig.
And I'm Gabrielle. Pleasure.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet some of the folks serving in our fine city. Hadrig, you said your name was. I think I see some symbols of Ilmater. A religious man yourself?
Yes, that is correct. In fact, I was raised by the church.
I hear they do good work taking in orphans and the like in the city.
Yes.
As you said,
Not all of us. Not all of us. Get to the same standard, but we all turn out all right in the end.
That's the main thing, isn't it? And she takes the amulet from your hands and looks at it. Well, this certainly seems to be an amulet for Segojan, but it's particularly finely crafted. Most of us in the city, and she pulls out from under her vestments an amulet of her own, which is far more basic looking, rather than being on that gold chain. It's on just a leather strap, and it's not actually a full sort of three-dimensional, I guess, cut gem. It's a fairly flat, thin piece of what appears to be fairly cheap glass in the shape of a diamond. I mean, I have certainly seen some patrons with some more extravagant necklaces, those that have the wealth and the desire to do so, but quite strange to see one of quite this style. I can't say it looks familiar to me. And she starts sort of turning it over in her hands and looking at it. And where was it you said you found this?
Among the possessions of a gnome traveler.
I see. Well, if he was coming into the city on business or stopping by, he certainly could have stopped in for a service. What does he look like?
I don't remember faces that good.
He himself wasn't of any notable characteristics. However, he typically accompanied a friend of his, a master, I imagine, because he was the apprentice, right? He was very striking, had pink hair. He was sort of a scientific inventor kind of gentleman.
Pink hair? I can't say I've seen anybody with pink hair. I think that would probably stand out to me. I should hope. I can't look at everyone in the crowd when I give a service, but I'm sure pink hair would have stood out to me.
Can I remember any notable? Because I did spend the most time with Timmy. Can I remember anything of note in regards to his appearance? Because I don't think he would have come here with Marin is the thing.
Yeah, he was nothing that stood out particularly about him. He had, I think it was short, sort of light brown hair, but he had no massively discerning features.
All right.
Could I do an insight check on Nemo?
Sure. What are you trying to determine?
Whether she is sort of telling the truth about not recognizing someone with pink hair.
Yeah. She seems to be, with a 17 on your insight, she seems to be being as open and forthright with you
Okay.
as she can. She seems to be honest when she says she doesn't remember everybody that steps in, but pink hair would surely have stood out.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm thinking that's
She's a lady
kind
of
of more of
God.
a striking kind of characteristic that even somebody who wasn't paying much attention would have noticed that. So
Yeah.
there's a good chance Nima just doesn't know who this guy is. We might have to head to the Undercity to find Timothy.
I think it makes more sense to talk to some of the patrons of the church who may have seen Timmy instead. Because they may.
That's fine.
I was gonna say, Nima, did you see anyone new at maybe yesterday in the congregation or?
Well, yesterday was slightly busier than usual, I must say. Although we have seen several faces come and go over the last month. Some of my regulars seem to have dropped their attendance, and a few fresh faces appearing. I would say there probably were some new faces yesterday. I would struggle to pick them from a crowd, though, if I'm being honest with you. From the front of the church, I can't really make out details all that well.
Do you know people they were potentially sitting with or interacting with that you could point us towards?
Well, there were certainly a few sort of I don't mean the word disparagingly, but loners, I suppose, last night, sitting by themselves, just seeming to sit and watch the service. Perhaps this was one of the people you were looking for if they were a traveller. Although, speaking of strange folk or new faces, about a week ago we did have, I wasn't here myself, but I was told that a group of 3 human men came into the church, which is very strange. It's not a common occurrence to have any tall folk stop by. All are more than welcome, of course. It's just not our usual worshippers. They spoke to one of my clerics about some of the more pedantic, intricate sort of elements of our worship. Asked if we had any holy books of Segojan that we could loan to them. As far as I'm aware, we gave them one of the small books that we hand out to a lot of newcomers, and they left. Maybe nothing, but since you're looking for people, it is something that's a little odd from the last few weeks.
Do you remember what they looked like?
She wasn't there.
I wasn't here,
Oh,
I'm afraid.
sorry.
Do you have any more?
To me,
I was just gonna.
Tall gentlemen in some sort of dark traveling cloaks.
Do you have any more copies of the book that was handed out to the gentleman?
Oh, sure. She rummages through a drawer and hands out a thin pamphlet, more than book. Only looks a few pages long. On the front has the symbol of Segojan, that diamond-looking gem, and a few pages worth of text in there.
Alrighty. Is the cleric who these gentlemen spoke to here today?
Possibly. Ask for Jacinta out there. She may be out there today. I'm not sure.
Captain of the Watch, Jacinta?
No. Must be another.
Oh, that's fair. People do have the same name sometimes. So
here, take the amulet. It's certainly not one of ours. I hope you can find its rightful owner. It doesn't look like a cheap amulet by any stretch. I did notice on here, and she points to one of the flat pieces of gold that's wrapped around the gem. There appears to be a maker's mark of some description on here. I might be a shot in the dark here, but it looks similar to some of the jewellery I've seen made by a man named Fernando in the Hearthstone District. I believe his maker's mark is the letter F, which is what this appears to be for me.
Or it's F for Facilin.
Which district was that again?
Thank you, Nemo.
District.
Hegglestone.
Hearthstone.
hard stone.
Thanks.
Thank you, Nemo, very much. And if you do see a traveling gnome come by the name of Timothy, please let us know down at the watch. I think we'll go
watch house.
have a word with Jacinta, and we'll be on our way. You've been most helpful. Thank you.
Of course, and any help I can give to the watch, more than happy to. Please, no need to rush out. Make yourselves comfortable. Feel free to say a word to Segojan if you so wish.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
slap, sneeze, time to hit the old dusty trail.
that's it. We're gonna shimmy on out of here. Yeah, I've got this thing. Sorry, I gotta go. Really important. You understand?
So heading out of her office, I make a stop at the altar, bow and say a prayer, and then I turn back to the crew. How is that blasphemy?
It's not your god.
A different god.
I'm allowed to. Wow, you're saying that like religious people are like strictly study their own?
Is accepting of other gods. So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
See,
it's not like
for-
not like I'm saying a prayer to a chaotic evil god.
Say a little prayer for you.
I'm all for worshipping whomsoever.
I turn back to the gang and should we talk to Jacinta or should we just press on to Fernando's?
I think it could be worth, because it seems a little odd that three humans have come in and spoken to someone in regards to this particular church. I think it could be worth talking to Jacinta to try and figure out if they got any particular information from her that could help.
Yep, and while we're here, we might as well.
Yeah.
No need to double back.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sure.
Lead the way, Racy.
Nemo points you to a woman moving between several candelabras, lighting candles.
Easy. I approach her and I gently tap her on the shoulder.
She sort of starts a little. Hello, welcome. I saw you enter. Welcome to the church. I see Nema's been giving you the orientation, I suppose.
We're just here trying to find the owner of an amulet. However, we learned that you had some humans enter the church a few weeks back, was it?
Oh, yes. A little strange. Nothing wrong with it, of course, just a little odd. They were asking all sorts of questions about Segojan and what he stood for and how we worshipped him, things like that. It was quite odd, but I suppose refreshing to see some of the tall folk come in and want to know about our practices. I spoke to them for a little while, gave them some pamphlets, and they went on their way.
Did they say anything that interested you or stood out to you in any way?
Well, I mean, the whole thing was a little odd. It seemed like they knew next to nothing about Segojan. They asked what his domains were. I told them he was of earth and nature and harmony between people and the world. He asked about our holy symbol and what it represents, the gemstone, which of course comes from when we spent a lot of time in our burrows and underground. But the whole interaction was a little strange, but they seemed friendly enough. They went on their way after I answered their questions.
What did they look like?
Well, there were three fairly tall men. I guess that doesn't mean much. In dark black travelling cloaks. All three had dark hair, I think. One a little longer than the others, maybe.
So not Giga Chad and the Alpha Squad then.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I was thinking of the three humans from the riots yesterday.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Or the riots this morning, I guess.
Could have been, yeah. So
But
a week
it is a big
prior,
city.
suppose it was them. A week prior, they were here asking about Segojan, and then they end up causing a riot within the city, and they weren't headed to the docks after all. They were basically fraudulently claiming to be merchants.
Well, we did.
Yeah, and just upsetting the general gnome population.
Yes.
Something fishy going, and that was where Timothy actually made his appearance, right then and there to deliver the note to you. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if that's all Jacinta can tell us, I guess I can't. Can I? I don't. Nah, I don't think she's trying to hide anything from us. I guess.
You sure you don't want to do the lie detector test on someone? It's tempting. It's almost as tempting as telling the DM that you have dark vision over and over again.
Guys, I don't think Chris likes it very much.
Two things I just don't want players to do. A is dark vision, and B is I sense motive. Is he lying? Like, just let the story play out. Oh my god.
I've done both.
If you can think of any other questions, I'm usually here, but if you'll excuse me, I must get back to lighting the candles before darkness falls.
So the people without dark vision can see.
And
Sorry.
on that bombshell,
A terrible
will
crime if we let this
will-
place go dark.
yeah, we'll scoot back
Fixing it
to
again.
the quickly because I am absolutely busting to pop the loot. So please
Please,
discuss your theories for a moment while I go and do that.
Hell
Okay.
yes.
So first and foremost, shout out to Kye for getting an NPC to tell us something about the amulet that we missed.
That's okay. That's
Yes.
the DM's job, right?
I mean,
Like-
obviously, we're running around just chasing our tails, not knowing what's going on.
I'm just wondering, like, because Reese, I know you did like a check on the amulet. Like, how high was it when you did it?
I think I got an 11.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it just must not have been high to see that particular note.
Yeah,
That's
but
fine.
if you remember, he was rolling religion, whereas I suppose what you would need to notice the maker's mark would be like some sort of
Perception.
crafting check or something, right?
Probably just a
Yeah,
perception
something
check.
like
Um,
that.
Sorry, I zoned out for a sec. Did we know what the maker's mark was?
yeah, it's a jeweler in the Hearthstone district for
okay.
a jeweler known as Fernando.
Yes. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
that's why we were like, let's go to Fernando's, and I'm like, yes.
Who's Fernando?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was a detail that we missed on the
Amulet.
It was a detail that we missed on the amulet,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
luckily enough, we went and saw Nina, and then she explained it to us.
Nima.
Yeah.
Nima, sorry.
So yeah, we've got 3 tall men, dark hair, one with slightly longer hair. Knowing that one of the men from the riots this morning had white hair, like, I don't think you can argue that it's the same guys, but it could be quite easy to make your hair look dark, I guess.
It's suspect for sure because they were basically trouble starters.
Yeah.
Also, my
So
top
it's-
tier plays of having to come up with an NPC name on the spot and using one I've already used. Big brain.
See, I was like,
Honestly,
like,
it needs to be used more often, right?
Kai's carefully crafted this plot. We're gonna run into Jacinta, and we're gonna be like, "Wait, you work here?" Like,
I thought that for a second. I was like, wait, she's a human. I don't get it.
Unfortunately, Kai, I think that's the second time you've done this campaign.
Is it?
Because the
Don't point it out.
first interrogatee that we came across was called Robert or Bob, and he was the shady guy that stole the handbag. And then later on, we went to Drinking Dicks, and the guy who was like washing down all the bar and everything was called Robert as well.
Look, people have names, all right? People share names.
Yeah, I know.
I made that remark. I was like, oh yeah, people could have the same name. That's a thing. Yeah.
one thing
Yeah.
can be two things.
It's like, panic, think of a name, and
a
my
traveling
brain
group
just...
whose names are Heydrig and Klaus and Rosefina. I'm gonna call bullshit.
My brain just jumps to names that it's already thought of, apparently.
Yeah.
Your 2 favorite names, Robert and Jacinta.
Apparently.
Those are the big bad names.
Alrighty.
So you guys have got a couple of clues. You're saying about NPCs spotting things that you hadn't, but it's a trick from Call of Cthulhu, where they sort of investigation based games. You need to have ways of people passing checks to find things, but then also need to have things that they can stumble across without having to roll, because otherwise things can stall pretty easily.
Yeah.
Well, like
I just
with
found it amusing. Yeah.
it was like the amulet. It's like we all had a look at it and we were like sufficiently happy that we've all done the one roll that we could do on it, and then we put it in our pocket and we're like, there's no need to look at it ever again because we've looked at it already. So we have the information, which is obviously not the case. So now we've got to pull out everything else that we've picked up. Like, Reese, look at the lantern again.
Unfortunately, it was Heydrig's insight roll where he rolled a 10 that wasn't quite enough to spot the maker's mark. But
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
something that I want to do to
That's
the
right.
lantern.
I did. Sorry, I did the religion check, so that's why we knew where
Yeah.
it came from.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I've got something planned for the lantern and for the amulet, but I need to level up in order to do the thing.
Just grind on sewer rats until we get there.
Yeah.
We had a few bangers in chat. I know we all broke character with Battle of Basil's marinating in red soup in it. That was
Simply
quite
too
funny.
good. Simply too good.
Speedrun Dark Vision %. Look, I know at this point I know who has Dark Vision and who doesn't.
Sorry.
No, that's alright. That's a meme.
All of you should multi-class into rogues. One rogue is enough.
Yep.
No, multi-rogue.
Smashley jumped in.
go.
Hi, Smashley. Welcome on in. Did I miss anybody? I don't think so. Oh, Stormo had to bounce.
Yeah.
Had to get to bed.
Hi, Stormo, if you're watching this on YouTube later. Alright, guys. We'll jump to a quick break so you guys can also do the bladder thing. I just had to run.
Yeah,
It was
I'm
painful.
starting to dance.
So we'll scoot to
Starting to do the jig.
short break and be back very, very soon.
Bye-bye.
BRB. And we are back.
Hello.
Everyone has snacks and drinks and empty bladders.
Just to fill them up again.
Yeehaw! What's everyone drinking?
Got myself a tasty water.
I've got the
I'll
no sugar cola.
I'll give Reese one guess as to what I'm drinking.
Reef tips.
Yeah, buddy!
Oh, let's go.
Is that a no sugar, no caffeine?
It's...
Oh, hang on. No, it just says no sugar.
Oh, not
So,
no caffeine.
Yeah, I know, but I'm totally with you on that argument from a couple of weeks ago.
Like D&D is my caffeine night. So, following the series of energy drink of the week, I got one of the Musashi grape.
Actually,
grape, and it is very grape. That was my
sure
drink
is.
earlier.
I have finally bought Musashi's, and I have the exact same comment to make about the grape one. It is very grape.
It's very grape.
Like, that's
Would you
the
say
only
that
good
it's
description
grape?
for it.
Grape flaving.
It's grokay.
Okay, nice. Grape real.
And then the weather was... I was coming home from work yesterday and I was like, man, this is totally Guinness weather. And then the bottle shop had no Guinness, so I'm on Kilkenny instead.
Bro, that's literally like, is Pepsi okay? Like...
Yes, Pepsi's better than Coke.
Wow. That's
Pepsi Max is better than Coke.
Wrong.
It's
No,
a weird.
Wrong.
Oh God, let's not go there.
Pepsi.
I'm
So,
Yeah.
so you want to walker? Let's go.
It's a wild ride because Pepsi has actually got a higher market capita than what Coke does.
Yeah,
okay.
because Pepsi is
You're
better.
looking at it from an analyst's perspective. Everyone else is doing it from an artist's or a connoisseur's
Kilkenny.
perspective.
I mean, I prefer Coke over Pepsi. For
If
sure.
I'm in the middle of the desert and I'm parched and I'm just about to die from heat stroke and a magical Pepsi appeared out of
Different
nowhere,
situation.
I'm not going to turn my nose up and be like, Coke's better.
Hey, and I'm in the same boat. I never said I would turn my nose up, but I just said I prefer Coke. If I was at the studio and we had a Pepsi or a Coke and I was given the choice, I would choose the Coke. But
Yeah, except
we
Pepsi's
only
better.
ever drink Pepsi Max at the studio. It's not like
Yeah, that's true.
We don't
it's not like
not
we stock
drink
the
it at
fridge with
studio.
Coke.
Bro, that's... I saw this meme the other day, and it's like a guy on Twitter was like, I quit drinking Diet Coke a month ago, and I just wanted to update you all. And it's like, I don't feel any healthier, I don't feel any better, and the one joy in my life got taken away from me. It's
Oof.
Wow,
That's pretty good, actually.
yeah.
that's a banger.
I think I drink way too many soft drinks. I do.
Yeah.
I probably drink at least a can a day, and then sometimes I'll drink like more than that.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to disclose how many.
A good friend of mine would easily drink around about 2 liters of Pepsi Max a day.
Oof.
Okay, that's
a
a lot.
Wait,
Yeah.
who drinks 2 liters of Pepsi Max?
A good friend of mine.
That's a lot.
Ugh.
That's a lot of Pepsi.
Yeah.
That's,
Is that good friend you?
No, it wasn't me.
That's a kidney problem waiting to happen.
But like he was actually like really healthy. Like he still is really healthy. But like he's
with 2 liters of Pepsi Max a day.
He's cut down now. He's down to a liter. But like
dude, he's one happy man. All right.
Yeah. Don't take the man's
joyful.
Pepsi Max away from him. All right.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
cutting down to 1 liter a day from 2 is actually exceptional. That's like cutting
Well-
away half the intake.
I think I only have soft drinks
yes.
on the weekend,
yeah.
and I try not to have beer or anything during the week, and I'll only have it on the weekend.
I'm a
Well,
monster.
You come out,
I'm just-
sit down and have a beer after work.
Yeah.
Or I could have a beer after work.
Beer with you.
but,
I've
you
had
know,
a
if
beer
I
with
put
you
a
on a
s-
weekday.
You know, if I put a 6-pack in the fridge, then by golly gosh, I would have been 2 beers into this D&D session by now.
True,
Are you not?
true.
But I've had no beers, and I've only had a whole pint worth of water.
Proud of you.
I haven't drunk
It's not
much
like
water
angry.
since Kai made me feel bad last week about drinking water.
In my Guinness.
What? I made you feel bad about
Right.
drinking water.
Yeah, because I have my big water bottle, and I went to take a drink out of it, and you commented on the giant mouthful of water I took.
Wow.
Because the hole in the top is so big, I don't want to spill it.
I can't believe you would
water
shame
shaming.
someone
Yeah.
for wanting to drink water.
In my
That
defense,
is-
she was essentially wrapping her mouth around the giant nozzle,
You
And-
can't
and-
spill water.
emptying it.
Spill it.
Kai, come on, you're better than that, man.
Yeah. I can't believe
No.
you just water shamed someone.
I don't.
What?
I don't take that back. Beck is a monster.
It's a monster. Oh no.
She's a
Now
water,
I only drink alcohol.
a
I've been
water
burned.
fiend.
I've been burned.
I'm solely
Water
responsible for
fiend.
Beck's drinking problem.
No.
Oh well, these things happen.
Anyway,
Alright, guys, shall we
It's
jump
fine.
into the second
do
half
it.
of our session tonight?
Yeah, let's
Do
get
it.
it.
Go have a chat to
Get on
Fernando.
it.
Ooh, Fernando. I don't know what that was.
Explain yourself, Reese.
No.
I will
Chat to
sing myself.
Fernando.
That's definitely not the right song.
I don't
There's an
remember.
easy song to sing, and I refuse.
I don't remember how the
Haven't
song
seen it.
goes, really.
Haven't seen it yet.
Something, something, Fernando.
That's it. That's all I know. Fernando.
There was something in the air that night. The stars were bright or something.
There was something
Yeah.
in the
There you go,
air.
that's it.
Yeah, no.
Right.
All string
Fernando.
of each other,
Yeah,
then
okay.
we can't get copyright claimed, right?
That's the one.
Bro,
Yeah.
this is gonna sound so good.
Not a,
Good.
not a single one of us was on key, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Otherwise, Kai would just have to bleep it all out.
Yeah. That's it.
I'm sure everyone.
you
Probably
guys-
will.
If you've just returned on YouTube and heard nothing but a bleep.
Skip forward to.
We were singing Fernando by
All right,
Play-
let's crack
Question
on.
mark?
Let's get this session done.
Alrighty, you guys leave the Church of Segogen Earthcaller and begin making your way towards the Hearthstone District, which isn't far, just slightly further south on the other side of the main road in the north side of the city there. You're heading into sort of early afternoon or mid-afternoon now. The sun's certainly on its way down, but it's not dark
Oh,
yet.
what a bloody legend! His
And
finger guns.
you find that
Pew, 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 pew.
the Hearthstone District, which is sort of the industrial district of the city, is still in full swing. Smoke belching out of several buildings. As you get closer, you can hear the ring of hammers on anvils, people shouting about their wares in front of buildings, and the air seems to get thicker with smog and the unique smells of tanneries and blacksmiths and things of that nature.
Interesting part of town.
Being a local, I guess is the best way to put it. Am I familiar with where I might find Fernando's shop?
You probably aren't familiar with Fernando's shop personally, but
Maybe not by name.
as a jeweler, the more sort of intricate and higher quality stuff is generally a little further to the south, closer to the main road, whereas the more heavy industries are usually a little bit closer to the river. So you've probably got a starting point.
Word's hard.
Yeah, words brain no good. Don't know where he is exactly, so I just immediately head into the shop on my left, knock on the door, open it, stick my head in.
Sure. You
And
stick
I,
your head in as you see a man sitting behind a desk performing some sort of stitching on some pieces of leather.
Because I did knock, I'd like to think he looked up, but I just immediately launched into asking my
Hey,
question.
welcome.
Excuse me, sir. We're looking for a jeweler named Fernando. Do you know where we may find his shop front?
Fernando? That hack? You don't want Fernando's stuff. You want Harry's. Come in. Look at Harry's. Fantastic leatherworks. You're looking for a gift?
All right, stop. We're from the Watch. We have to ask him a few questions.
Oh, he doesn't pay his taxes, you know, Fernando. You should. I always pay my taxes.
I'm from the Watch.
Harry
Not
pays his taxes.
Not taxes, the Watch. So where can I find Fernando?
He's in the street behind me. 3 doors to the east. Lock him up, I say.
Thank you. You may go back to your stitching of leather. Have a good evening. Good night. And I leave.
What a bloody legend. He's a bigger gun.
Good old Harry.
Doesn't pay his taxes. Oh, sure. I'll get right on that.
Do I look like a taxman nerd to you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Do I have glasses? No, let's move on. All right. I head back out and I'm like, all right, let's go, boys. And here's the thing. We know that he was telling the truth because he hates the guy and wants to see him arrested. So
Yeah. Can I just sense motive that guy?
No. With the directions
Spotted.
in hand, Rosie, you move to the road behind Harry's leatherworking shop. And
I think that Harry scares.
quickly spot a small building with a sign over the door saying Fernando's Fineries.
Yeah.
alliteration.
There it is.
Double F for Fusilla. Yep.
I have a
just gonna-
question because I've been spelling Vasilla with a V. Is it F or V?
Can you just spell Fusilla for me? Because I think it's Fusila.
So close, and yet so far. It
Wait,
I hate
is-
what have I
you.
got?
I
What have I
hate you.
Hang on. What have I got?
I have double Sila. Vasilla.
No.
I don't think
Anyone else
I've
want
written
to
it
take a
down.
crack?
I don't think I've actually written it down.
Fucilla.
Oh, closest so far. There's only one L.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Fusila.
Fusilla. Okay. So I've been hearing the few. That's why I knew it was FU.
So Fucila.
Sorry to derail. Continue.
No. This has been bothering me so much. So thank you.
No one's
Reese is
asked.
like,
It was
oh,
bothering
French.
you. You didn't ask.
It's one of those things where it's like Kai's been throwing at us names left, right, and center. Can you just call everyone Robert and Jacinta? That's it. They come from the land of Robertson,
Keep it
and then
nice.
we're from the land of Jacinta.
I've been trying
That's it.
so hard
Be
to
done.
avoid the name Tobias that I've been doubling up on other names. And in my defense, in the what the players know intro pages that I sent you, the word Facilla is written about 6 times.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, I feel like it's written down.
Hi,
So-
have you not figured out? I can't read.
Oh yeah, my entire backstory has. Well, I mean, no, it doesn't.
I can read. I choose not to.
Just because I have dark vision doesn't mean I know how to spell. Okay. That's,
I could see the letters. I don't know what they mean.
You can read in the dark, but you just can't read normally.
Sorry, my chat doesn't scroll up high enough to see where Facilla is actually written. So,
All right, because Lachlan was added late. We'll figure it out later. That's fine. It's Fernando's Fineries.
Banana Fineries. Moving on from that Harry harassment guy.
Who wants to take the lead on this?
Well, look, we're now in a non-gnome dominated part of the city. Why don't one of the tall boys take it?
Oh, that's not me.
Well, I guess it's my time to shine because it's certainly not Hadrig either.
Yeah, Gabriel.
Knuckles cracks neck. Let's go, boys.
Let's go, boys. I'm gonna
Take the lead.
Bust on in through the front of good old Fernando's fineries and.
Sure, you throw the door open. Little ding-a-ling from a small bell above the door. Sitting at a workbench with a pair of glasses that's like got its own pair of glasses to magnify the small work. You can see an elven man sitting at the desk, working with some very small tools on what appears to be a piece of jewellery. He doesn't look up when the bell rings.
Fernando, I imagine.
Oh! He flips his glasses up and then flips the other pair up. Welcome to Fernando's Fineries. How can I be of assistance today?
My name is Gabrielle. I'm with the Watch from the Illabar Watch House. I'm sure you've heard of our presence in Rolands Landing. These are my compatriots.
A pleasure, sure. Come in.
I gesture for the other guys to come on in.
I move on in.
Hadrig, if you would please.
Beck looked like she's dying there.
Oh
Beck,
god!
you good?
Did you take a swig from your Giga nozzle?
I wasn't expecting the list. It's like the one thing I find the most hilarious in this world.
What's wrong with that?
What?
I wasn't
list.
expecting the list.
Oh yeah, no. I was like, please no.
Hadrig,
Yo.
and I sort of hold my hand out, and after a moment, I realise that he kind of maybe doesn't get what I'm talking about, so I say, "The amulet, please."
Oh, yes. I pat around it. Oh, here's the amulet, sir.
Thank you,
Sir. Handing it to Gabrielle.
I present the amulet to Fernando, and I inquisit, "Is this one of your handiworks?"
It's a fine piece. Let me have a look. He takes it off of you. Are you looking to sell it?
No, rather to ask some questions about the artisanry that went into it.
Well, it's certainly fine work. One of mine? No, certainly not. I don't, doesn't really have my flair.
Is that... Hold on, wait. No, hold on. Is that not your stamp on the... your maker's mark?
No, similar. Let me show you. And he puts your amulet down and turns to the piece he's been working on and puts it in front of you. It's a very intricate, fine, silver-looking necklace with lots of sort of almost tendrils wrapping around themselves. It's going to be thorns of a rose bush. Here, see? And he gestures towards the top loop where leather or a chain would go through. And while his symbol is an F, it actually looks more like two Fs back to back.
Yeah.
Like a curly QF, yeah.
Fernando's Fineries, you see. Two Fs, not just the one.
I imagine that's for Fernando's Fineries, of course.
Indeed, very perceptive.
I'm no expert in these matters of craftsmanship. Perhaps you'll be able to enlighten me. What does this mark stand for?
Well, it's not overly familiar to me. I'm friends with a lot of the jewelers in the city. Let me have a look at some of the guild paperwork I have. It shows all of the maker's marks for the city's smiths. And he...
Yes. Make it hasty, please.
Oh, certainly, my apologies. Please feel free to browse while I fetch the paperwork.
Thank you.
Can I get just like a brief layout of the shop, please?
Sure.
Okay.
The actual sort of standing area, I guess, where you guys are is fairly small. The workbench / countertop is pretty far into the room for most stores. But the majority of his wares appear to be behind the counter, rather than out in the open where they would be presumably pretty easy to steal. There are a few display cabinets, but there's not a lot in them.
Can I see a way into a back room of any kind?
There's the passageway that Fernando turned around and walked down to presumably collect the paperwork he was talking about.
Okay. I attempt to go behind the counter to see if I can find any locked cupboards.
Sure.
What?
I have a reason.
Rosie.
Rosie walks around
Nosy Rosie.
the counter to behind the workbench where Fernando was sitting. There's a number of cabinets directly underneath the workbench. Most of them have keyholes visible, but you're not sure if they're actually locked or not.
I first test by seeing if any are just easily openable by a simple tug.
Sure. The two directly beneath the workbench where Fernando was open when you pull on them. Inside is a fairly sort of jumbled mess of what appears to be a mixture of tools and raw materials, chains, thin wire, pieces of metal.
Can I find anything in there that mimics what the amulet that we have? So any tools?
An investigation check.
$17.
It's pretty good. Most of the materials that you're looking at appear to be silver. The amulet you've got is gold. There doesn't seem to be much in the way of gold among Fernando's stocks here in this cabinet at least.
Okay.
This doesn't look so promising, does it?
Well, I was just checking to make sure that he wasn't like hiding it, like because if he had a different stamp, but it also seems like it could be something that you would just lock away if you don't want the watch to find it. I come back around and join the other gentleman because I don't want to.
Sorry.
I don't want to break into his personal effects. I don't think he's suspicious yet.
From the rummagings, you can hear him call, found it! And footsteps as he comes back towards the front. And he places this loose bundle of paperwork and starts rummaging through it. Yes, no, I'm the only smith in the city with an F for his stamp. It's possible, I suppose, that it's not from within the city. We have strict orders not to resell any work coming from Fusilla, what with the trade disagreements and such.
Do you have a list of stamps from Fusillan jewelers? No, I'm afraid not. A lot of their work comes from their state-owned smithies, I believe. They own a lot of the production on that side of the pond. Perhaps the F is for the Fusillan smiths. I'm afraid I don't have any Fusillan metals to check it against, though.
Oh, that's quite all right, Fernando. Thank you for your time.
Certainly.
I wouldn't expect that perhaps you have any frequent clientele. Anyone by the name of Timothy. He's a gnome from out of town, accompanied by the mad, crackpot, pink-haired Marin.
No, neither name rings a bell, I must say. I certainly have my regulars, but none by that name.
Fernando, do you know of any jewelers in the city that work with gold? Or perhaps trade in gold or anything like that?
Oh, there are many. Gold is popular, although a little gaudy for my tastes. Some of those, I hesitate to mention it, but those Dark Hearth worshippers tend to prefer the gold over the symbol, a sign of wealth or gaudiness. I'm not sure.
we've come full circle.
Yeah.
Well,
That's it.
Fernando, thank you for your time. Is there anything you wanted to say, Hedrid?
Just one more question. Have you been approached by 3 human men wearing dark cloaks?
Not in a group. Individually, perhaps I've seen 3 men in cloaks recently, but 3 together, no.
Do you know of anyone who has had an encounter with these men?
No rumours that I've heard, at least. Wouldn't be particularly strange, though, for 3 travellers to come into any business around here.
Yeah.
On that note, Kai, would the locals, Josephina, Klaus, and Hedrig, would we know where the Church of Gelth Darkarth is, and if there is one?
There certainly would be one. It's not a secret that, a fair few gnomes of the city worship Gelth. Of the 3 of you, Rosie's probably the only one that would have an inkling or perhaps the connections to find where it is. It's certainly not public knowledge among the non-gnomes of the city. But
Gotcha.
it's not something you've ever kind of sought out, so you can assume that there's some sort of place of worship. But Rosie, you would be the only one to know that there certainly is places of worship for Gelth.
Yeah, it's just because Gelth is the gnomish god of discord, isn't he, at the moment?
Entropy and revenge.
Entropy and discord.
He's one of those good gods. Got it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think that's all we have to ask of Fernando. Just between us, and I hushed whispers to the guys. I don't think he's really our man. I think we're on a red herring here.
I think so too.
Wait.
I just can't see how the connection between the amulet, which has a Facilian symbol on it, would be the symbol for Sagagen, has a connection to Darkarth, because those are 2 different and not necessarily opposing, but 2 different religions.
Sorry, I'm just going to interject. I almost wonder if the leader of the Gnomish Church has let us on a red herring, because she's the one that told us that this stamp was Fernando's, but it's clearly not.
Could be. There could be something more to it than that, but
I don't think we have enough pieces of the puzzle.
And plus, I think we sense motive Nemo, so we're fine.
Truth detector.
I get what you mean, but I feel like it's the only direction that we could go towards finding out what the symbol was. So I don't think she was leading us astray, as more pushing us in the direction of someone who would know more than what she would.
Yeah, that's fair.
I honestly think we need to find this Tim guy.
Let's visit Fernando's before we start.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's get
Fernando, do you have any ideas?
What do you think of this conspiracy? I was thinking
perhaps if you could find some Facilian steel to compare the stamps, you could be certain.
Oh! We need to go back to the watch house.
What's the watch house?
The scimitars, the Facilians that attacked us yesterday.
Gotcha.
They were scimitar boys.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I mean, we're pretty certain that this is a Facilian stamp anyway. So we could go back to the watch house, check the symbol. Fernando, did you have any Facilian artifacts here? You did say that you guys were under strict ruling to not sell it on, but if we were able to see something that you'd have in your store?
Certainly not. I can't risk being shut down. Strict guild rules which come from the king, or did come from the king. The trade embargoes were quite explicit that anything known of Facilian origin is not to be sold.
Okay.
Can't risk having my business shut down.
That's fair, Fernando. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, Josephine, maybe that's a good place. We'll go back to the watch, inform the captain/sergeant of our findings, and then head out to the Church of Gelth Darkarth.
I must admit, Okay, so we'll exit Fernando's and spare him the poor.
You can have this discussion as you head back towards the watch house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, what I'm thinking is that we found this amulet amongst Fusilin coins, which were recognized with the Fusilin crest. It has an F adorned on it. The odds of this not being Fusilin are so low that we could basically just employ Occam's razor and say, look, it's probably belongs to whoever owned the gold. They're from Fusilla. There's a good chance it's Tim. And I think that's more important of a lead than going and comparing it to scimitars and stuff. I honestly think that's wasting our time.
What's the time of day at the moment, Kye?
So as you're leaving Fernando's, it's reaching late afternoon. You've probably got 2 or 3 hours of daylight left.
Yeah, and
we're going to be running out of time. And
I agree with Gabriel. I think that we are pretty certain that it's Fusilin and that we should head to the Dark Hearth church.
And, if this church is
I disagree with that in its entirety.
Going to the church or...
Going to the Gelth Dark Hearth Church, because the only connection we have is that this amulet is made of gold, and Gelth Dark Hearth likes gold. And so I'm like, I don't see enough of a connection to indicate that we should go investigate this particular church. I think we'd be better off going to a local tavern where gnomes might frequent and seeing if anyone's seen Tim recently or with anyone else to try and backtrack some of his steps.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Like getting in touch with the Undercity, because I imagine, obviously, if we are going to go down the Gelth Dark Heart route, that's pretty much like a hush-hush, keep it a secret kind of deal. And Tim isn't really leading on, where he's been, what he's doing. There's been a murder, so this is probably something.
And also the fact is that the amulet is a Segajan symbol.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Because it's an earth color amulet, the fact that it's made with gold just means that someone's made it with gold, and that could just be a Fusilin noble person thing where they're like, I believe in Segajan earth color, but my amulet must be made of gold and glass. So I think we'd be better served trying to find Tim, see if Tim's associated with the 3 gentlemen, figure out who these 3 men are, and then we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, so we're going to go back to the watch, drop off our uniform before we go undercover, and check the scimitar.
Oh yeah, good point. We don't want to be wearing watch clothing going into some Undercity tavern full of gnomes.
Yeah, that's fair, actually.
Good suggestion, Clow.
So we're going to go check the scimitars at the same time as going undercover, then going to the pub is the plan.
Yeah. Sure. All in the name of the watch.
Let's fly together.
No worries. You guys make your way across
puts
town.
his hand in.
Everyone leaves.
It goes in. Yeah. All right, let's go.
The 3 of you, or 4 of you, make your way back to the watch house. I don't know who I was forgetting there. Entering, neither the sergeant or the corporal are in immediate sight. Although the sergeant did say he was going to go check out the crime scene.
All right.
That's true. And they might also have more clues that we missed as they searched the crime scene.
We can check in with them later. Let's go find the scimitars from the arrest. Do we know if they were brought to this watch house or were they taken somewhere else?
You're not sure, but you can search the evidence lockers.
Right.
Is where you assume they would be put.
If for no other reason than other Fusilin confiscated items might have that symbol on it. So that's right.
So you start going through the evidence lockers, and you quickly find tossed in a fairly rude pile the 4 scimitars of the Fusilins that you stopped from entering the city.
All right. I do give them a once over to be able to see if I can find this particular insignia.
Yeah. Now that you're looking for it, it's quite easy to see. At the base of the blade where it joins the hilt, there is a small F symbol on the blade itself that does appear very much to be the same as the one on the amulet you found.
Okay. That's probably as much as we need here, so... the evidence lockers are in the same place as our personal lockers, aren't they?
Yes.
Cool. I just drop off my stuff while I'm here.
They appear to be the exact same lockers, just with the word evidence painted over them.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, we'll get changed into like civilian clothing and drop off any needless items.
Yep.
Okay. So I take off my uniform, I leave it in the locker, and then I collect the rest of my weapons.
No worries. So the four of you strip off your watch clothes, get back into your everyday garments, and by the time you leave the watch house, the sun is now pretty close to setting.
I always love this time of day.
Again, the hustle and bustle doesn't really seem to have died down much. The city's very much still alive.
Mm-hmm. And does Where Gabriel have to go off on another adventure? Is it a full moon?
Not yet, man. No.
Anyway,
that's when we go to sleep.
And I come and backstab you.
He was actually Timothy all along.
He was the Timmy all along. I have to.
Cool. Well, Rosafina, I think. Do you want to lead the way to your local inn, pub?
So,
Cabin?
Knowing how people tend to pick places to drink in a city like this, we should head to a tavern that is between... Because it's entirely possible Tim did go to church. Like, having the amulet does not mean... Like, having a Fusilin amulet does not mean Earth Collar they do not swear by. But it would make more sense for us to find a tavern that is between Marin's workshop and the church. I think.
Sure.
That makes most sense to me.
Give us a wisdom check, Rosie.
Alright. What? Oh, God damn it. 17.
17.
That's pretty good.
You remember that when Timothy entered the city, he asked you for a recommendation for where to go, somewhere that was friendly to gnomes. Do you remember what you suggested?
I called it something really fucking dumb. Hang on, let me see if I wrote it down.
You said it was a bar in the Burrows called the Burrow.
Yes, I did. I did say that, didn't I?
It's so obvious.
You think that's probably as likely a starting point as any?
Yeah, alright, so I guess it's finally, yeah, I've got it here. The Burrow, a gnome pub. So, I guess it's finally time to introduce you guys to my side of town. So, let's go. Look, it's like bringing your nerdy school friends to all of your cool, like, sport friends, and like you're getting them all together for a party, and you're not sure how they're going to interact, and so you're really worried about both of the groups separately but equally.
Beck, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Is it because you don't have friends?
Wow.
I'm spicy this week. All right, I'm spicy.
Ouch. Poor hatred.
I'm pretty sure Reese is one of your best friends, but alright.
Cold as ice.
And that's what friends do. They insult other friends.
Alright. So we head to the borough.
Nice. You make your way down into the burrows, and as the sun's setting, the more honourable business folk are making themselves scarce as the people who ply their peculiar trades in the night come out on the streets. Before long, you lead the group to a dingy but large for the area building that's just known as the Burrow.
I easily walk through the front door. I have no problems here. Like, this is...
I mean, I also walk through the front door.
Yeah, the door is slightly smaller than, I suppose, a full-size tavern door, but none of you are unable to enter.
I just do it with an air of swagger about me, though, because I'm that arrogant about this being a gnome tavern.
Gabriel and
normal
Adrian
doors
is
are 2
probably
meters,
like skimming the tops of your heads just about.
Yeah.
So it feels a little smaller than usual, but not tiny.
fair. We'll just squeeze on through like the farmer from Babe.
All right. So let's find a secluded table for us, I think, and I'll go and order us a round of drinks.
Sure. As you all enter and look around, no one is making any effort to hide the fact that they're staring at the three taller folk among you, and then turning amongst themselves like, what the hell is this lot doing here? It's trying to start trouble or something. And people immediately seem to be sort of on the defensive.
I notice the sort of I guess standoffishness that's just oozing out of the pores of all these people, and I just sort of yell out to the group. I'm like, I'm here to show them how to have a really good time. They don't know how to do it topside.
That gets a couple of chuckles from within the dark. You hear someone mutter, "Poor bastards."
I just hear Rosie yell that, and I just like thumbs up and grin to everyone. I'm like, eh.
One of those toothy grins.
Yeah.
I was gonna lean down and be like, should we wait outside?
No,
is this a Rosie going it alone?
No, we're here now.
We're undercover, boys.
Rosie's going on a...
It seems like we are very much the cover.
Remember, we need to act inconspicuous.
Nobody will see us here.
Oh yeah, okay. Hey, let's change our uniforms. We're going to be inconspicuous. Go to the tavern, and we'll be
all
fine.
All of you are a size class bigger than everybody
tavern.
else.
I would like to think, because now you've got me feeling all defensive. I would like to think that in this case, it's a simple case of there just aren't that many people past the height of 4 feet that walk into this particular tavern, and so you guys are just oddities more than you are suspicious.
I mean, yeah, the sense that you got from people was more that they were worried that this was going to be people coming here to start trouble. But since calling out that you're here to show them a good time, a few people have, again, chuckled, turned back to their drinks, but they're still copping a few dirty looks.
That's fine. Those are just part of the old guard. I continue on to the bar and I just order.
There's a gnome gentleman behind the bar cleaning a grimy mug with a grimier rag. Well, what'll it be?
Hey, mate. Let's get us 4 pints of your finest ale, if you would, this fine evening.
4 pints of the house ale, and he starts pulling them.
And I'm struggling with the name, but there was a gent that entered the city yesterday. He seemed like he was working for a really kooky guy, but I found something of his, and I'm trying to give it back. I think his name was Timothy. I could be wrong though. Have you seen anyone?
Saying the name Timothy, the barman's eyes shoot up at you from where he's pulling, sort of where his eyes are on the beers.
Damn, I should have let him pour the beers first.
Look, if you lot are here to cause trouble, you best leave now.
No trouble. Like I said, I just have something of his I want to give back. That's all there is to it.
And that takes you and your 3 friends over there, does it?
They're my support friends. Like, I have a certificate for them, okay?
Oh. Do you have a certificate for the gentleman with the halberd there?
That's his support halberd. He needs it to go to sleep at night.
He has a certificate for it.
Emotional support halberd.
Obviously sensing the gentleman's hesitation.
The funniest thing is, I'm probably the nicest person here.
Yeah.
Like, not like...
Yeah, without a doubt, I think.
You definitely are. Anyway, okay, I pull out my most convincing. As best as I can. I'm not used to interacting with other people. Anyway, point is, look, mate, I promise you, we're not here to start any trouble unless it started with us first. We just have something we need to give back to Timothy. Just have a couple questions to ask him, but I promise you, we are not here to start a fight. I am so done fighting with people, and especially gnomes right now, so I am not in the mood. I just want to have a beer and give this guy back his stupid amulet, alright?
He places the 4 drinks on the bar. Give us a persuasion.
Goody.
That was pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's it. Get ready for the net one.
Oh boy, 17.
Oh,
17.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
17.
There's 3 17s in a row.
The major risk here was trying to talk your way around the 3 heavily armed guys you brought in with you. He puts the drinks in the bar and says, "Look, I'll let Timothy know you want to talk, but I can't promise he wants to talk to you."
You know what? I understand that. But also, this is a kind of can't really take no for an answer sort of situation, so...
I thought you weren't here to start trouble. What are you going to do if he says no?
We'll sort it out, Tim and me, okay? Just, And I do the whole, like, finger gun thing. We'll figure it out.
Hey, Hydrid, Gabriel, do you two want to find a table somewhere and we'll leave Rosie to it?
Well, to be
Go
fair,
have a drink
Wait,
over there.
Are we not at a table? I thought we were at a table.
I thought
I thought
I
we were at
left
the
you
bar.
guys at a table.
No, I'm pretty
we were
sure
at
we're
the
at a
bar.
table.
Yeah, no, you guys
Oh,
are...
my bad.
Yeah, you guys
Rosie,
are quietly sitting
do
in
you
a
think?
corner, and I'm trying to talk my way around you guys.
Klaus, we're already at a table.
What? When did we get here?
Let's
am
go
I that
to the
drunk
table in
already?
the tall people
Are
side
you-
of the city.
Do you still have a concussion from this morning? You got hit pretty bad.
I'm still on a feeling of 9.
Oops.
The barman says, "Look, your friends stay where they are. You and I can go see if Tim wants to talk."
Okay, let's do it. I was like, let me just tell them where I'm going so they don't run after me. Emotional support halberds in hand.
He, as you move towards the table, he shouts to someone sitting in a corner of the bar, "Charlie, come watch the bar for a minute." And the guy he yelled to sort of pulls himself up off his stool and waddles over towards the bar.
Waddles. Anyway,
Annie waddles away.
Waddle.
Waddle.
I walk back over to the table and I'm just quietly under my breath. I'm just, okay, guys, I think Timothy is here. The barman's agreed to take me to him, but you guys can't come along. I don't know why I tried. But I will not kill anybody, and I will report back with what I find out.
Why did you feel the need to say that?
I felt like it was important sensing the level of distrust with gnomes nowadays. So you know what? I promise I won't kill anybody, and I will bring back any information I find, and hopefully we'll get this mystery sorted.
Okay, you
well-
take care in there, Rosie.
Yeah, if you need anything, give us a yell.
And I'm sure Timothy will give you some things that are just for you, not for us.
I'm just trying to see if I have anything that would be useful in this case. That's fine. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Say hi to Loverboy for us.
The
Tell you guys what, if I need a hand, like I'll say this. If you guys wait outside, if I need a hand, I will throw a dagger out onto the street because I'm going to assume that I will be in a street-facing window.
bold assumption.
It's a bold assumption, but I don't have anything else.
Into the basement you go, where there are no windows.
Or just sit
That's
here?
a very good point. It's up to you guys. You can wait outside, you can stay here, but I gotta
Look,
go.
I
I think we
prefer
should
to
stay
stay
here.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
All right, well, I
yeah.
drop off their pints at the table as well, like that. Rather
Yeah,
rude
that's
of me.
kind.
Give them something to do, I guess. I'll leave
You
the
had
fourth one
playing
there.
cards there. Anyone want to play Magic the Gathering?
Ooh, I have my
Ooh, do you
new
wanna-
deck.
Quick game of Magic.
As you brief your friends, the barman's made his way from around behind the bar, and he says, "Right, follow me. No funny business."
Yes, sir. All right. See you guys.
Hi, Rosie.
The barman leads you off down a hallway to the right of the bar. and about halfway down, there's several wooden doors set in the left-hand side of the hallway. He turns to you and says, "Just wait there for a minute. I don't want to spook him." And then moves to the center door and knocks on it lightly. He goes, "Tim, I know you didn't want to be disturbed, but there's someone here says they got something of yours." What did you say your name was?
It's Rosie.
Says her name's Rosie. You want to talk to her? I'll send her away if not. And you can hear something sort of murmured from inside the room, but can't make out quite what it says. He turns to you and says, "What is it you've got?" Tim's.
We found an amulet back at the workshop, and I've got the note he gave me the other day, or this morning it was. Oof. God, it's been a long day.
Big day.
Big day, long day.
There's some more murmuring back and forth as this information's exchanged.
Is it that it sounds like common and I just can't hear it because it's too quiet, or it sounds like a different language?
I mean, the barman's speaking in common.
Yeah.
Into the door. You're not sure what's being spoken out, just because the low volume and the thick door, and you've been told to wait a few steps back.
Okay.
After a few moments, though, the barman turns to you and says, "Right, make it quick, and do anything silly and your friends out here will find out that we don't need guards in here when everyone's as close-knit as they are."
Okay, well, don't you worry about those guys, but I wouldn't upset the halberd. He's a bit of a
Loose cannon.
loose cannon. Okay. So I sort of like shuffle up to the door and I just like gently knock and open it, I guess.
You open the door. It's very dark inside. There's no candles lit, but you can see Timothy sort of huddled on the bed. He's sort of got his knees pulled up to his chest, sort of curled up into a ball, and he's just shaking his head as you enter, and he goes, it wasn't me, Rosie. I know how it looks, but it wasn't me."
You know what? I do actually believe you. I don't believe it was you. I don't. I know some of the people in my party may have jumped immediately to you, but it was too easy.
The city's like a dead boss with a gnome assistant. I know what's going to happen.
It's all right, bud. It's okay. What did happen?
I don't know. I got back from the square. I found you. I gave you the note, and when I got back, he was dead. I don't know what happened. I was only gone for an hour. He was scared. I thought he was paranoid. He's always been a bit like that, but he was worried that he said he'd gone too far. He'd done something he shouldn't have done. He was frantic, and that's why he asked me to find you guys. He obviously thought you could help. He was looking for the authorities, but obviously I was too late. I got back and he was behind the table on the ground. I took off. I panicked. Like I said, I know what the city's like. I know who they're going to try and arrest straight away.
We found Fusilin coins and a golden Sagajan Earthcaller amulet in your bed. Are they yours or do they belong to somebody else?
What? Coins? No. I mean, Marin is Fusilin, I guess. His parents were anyway, but he's not been there since he was a kid, as far as I know. I've got nothing to do with them, I swear.
Is the amulet yours?
The amulet? And he sort of fumbles around his neck before pulling out an amulet of Sagajan Earthcaller, but a much more humble and cheap-looking amulet. More akin to what Nemo was wearing. Not identical, but on a a leather strap, and far less expensive looking. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. when we were looking for you, we heard a story about like three men in long dark cloaks and dark hair asking about Earthcaller. Have you seen anyone like that around the workshop, like either yesterday or today?
No. Marin said we were being followed. I didn't believe him. He's always like this. You got to understand. This wasn't out of character for him. The whole reason he worked out in a small town was because he gets skittish around people. I just thought he was being his same old self. But I guess he was right. If I'd have been quicker, if I'd have not shrugged it off, maybe he'd still be alive.
Don't blame yourself, mate. That's a rough journey. I would. Okay. So, do you know what Marin was working on? Like, you may not have understood it, but surely he's explained it to you. Every person has to explain what they're doing.
Oh, he's tried. I'm not really sure what the final product was supposed to be, but he was obsessed with capturing the energy of lightning in these jars, the same ones he showed you that day at the gate. He was convinced that he could harness that for other purposes. He was messing about with lights and other applications for this energy. I never thought it would get anywhere. It's all a bit silly, but he was working on something when I left. He had it set up on the table, all copper tubes and these jars. I've never seen him hook so many up to one thing before. I don't know what it was supposed to be, but he was starting to dismantle it when he sent me out. He said he shouldn't have done what he'd done, and he seemed almost scared of it.
I pulled the illustration I got from the workshop out of my pockets, and I'm like, was this what was assembled on the table? And I hand it to him.
Yeah, that's it. He had 8 of the jars hooked up, 4 on each side, and was running these pieces of metal wire around the tube. I'm not sure what it was, but he finished it this morning, and then after spending an hour or two tinkering with it, he started mumbling about it being too dangerous and not something that anyone should have their hands on. Something about giving too much power to one person, and said he was going to disassemble it and sent me to find you guys.
Much power for one person. Do you think he was referencing himself, or was he referencing someone else?
I don't know. I mean, he recently got a grant to move into the city. Some rich, I don't know, noble, I suppose, wanted to sponsor his research, but he never told me the details about who it was or where the money was coming from. But I don't know if the plan was to give that to anybody, or if it was, research for the sake of research. Nothing he's ever done seems to be for much commercial gain. We've never had, much in the way of money besides what we need to buy equipment. So it was somewhat surprising that we got this boon, this sponsorship from someone with enough money to move us into the city anyway.
Do you have anything? I mean, it may have been stolen, but did you guys have anything, like any possessions that were given to you by the sponsor, or
not that
like
I'm aware
money?
of.
Or
It was a small crate full of gold that Marin had. He was told it was the first of more to come if he moved into the city and took up a spot here to continue his research.
Where's the crate now?
Well, I assume it was in the lab. I mean, you guys have been there. I took off. Like I said, I panicked and ran. I don't know if it's still there or not.
Well, where was it if it was still there?
Marin kept it under his bed, I think. Look, I've got to try and get out of the city. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe Marin's paranoia is just rubbing off on me, but now I feel like I'm being followed. I hold up here because I didn't know where else to go. But whatever this is, it's nothing I want to be wrapped up in.
Do you know anyone in the city, or are you on your own?
I mean, I've not been here for years. There's no one here I've spoken to for, 5-10 years. I didn't even know where to get a drink until I bumped into you. I'll be getting out of here and heading back home as soon as I can. I've not got much coin on me. I wasn't expecting to need it, but I'll take what I can and make it last.
Okay, well, I hand him 2 of my silver pieces because I've still got 4 from our first payday.
Oh, I shouldn't. You really don't have
Look,
to. The fact that you're not arresting me is more than I expected.
Of course, I do think I still need to do an insight check here because he could just be very good at lying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think he's lying, but you can't. I'm investigating something right now, and he is actually still the prime suspect. So
Fair.
Yeah. All right. So I will do an insight check, and that's a 25.
25 is a very good roll.
Yes.
You don't sense any blatant misdirection from him. He seems to be talking in a bit of a jumble. He's obviously panicked and emotional. You feel like maybe he's sort of jumping back and forth in time as he's describing it to you, but not intentionally missing things out. So,
Okay. So, now, you arrived in the city yesterday. Is there anything from when you saw me yesterday and when you, from this moment here that you can think of that I should know in trying to find Marin's killer?
I mean, I guess
I don't care how small it is. Like, just anything that seems odd for you being in the city.
I mean, I don't really know what's odd for a city. It's, like I said, I've not been here for years. When I was on my way here last night, I got approached by a few gnomes a few blocks from here, and they asked me if I was a worshipper of Darkarth. I told them no, I was a Sego Gen man. And they told me I should come to the church and see if they could convince me otherwise. Something about taking the city back. I've heard about the tensions here. It's not something I want to get involved in. I don't know if it's just Marin's paranoia rubbing off again, or if there's anything to it, but I don't feel at home even among the gnomes of the city. I feel like I'm seeing more Darkarth followers than I am Earthcaller.
It's definitely something we're seeing less of the longer from the invasion.
I don't understand why there would be anything in my bed unless someone was trying to put the blame on me. But
I mean, the only thing that I can explain for you, my friend, is the fact that we found the things in your bed and half of my party immediately assumed that you had done it. So...
Only half? That's,
Well, I didn't. And there were only 4 of us, so... Okay. I guess to peel back a little bit of backstory here. I know it's not been that long. I would still have contact with some of the smugglers I would have been in contact with before I joined the Watch, wouldn't I?
You'd probably you'd probably know of a fence or two, yeah.
Any fence is good at getting people out more than just stuff?
Yeah, I mean, your connections, you'd probably be able to find someone that's, into human trafficking or people smuggling, one way or the other, in or out of the city.
Okay. I'm gonna come up with a name for you.
Because if you let me do it, I'll call him Bob.
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds. Just gonna consult my Rolodex here.
Oh, would you look at that, Jacinta? Ooh.
Woo! God.
Jacinta Robertson.
So, Okay, I will give him the name of Helen Garrick. Helen Garrick, otherwise known as Badger.
Nice.
A gentleman I've known to both do a very good job of fencing some nice trinkets from some expensive homes, and also get some, tired gnomes out of the city. Because I think that's probably the best idea for Timothy. Let's get him a reliable way to get out of the city, and if I never got caught, then he probably won't. So,
Sure.
let's give it a go.
Klaus, Hadric, and Gabriel. Rose has been gone for a few minutes now. Can the three of you please give me a perception check while you're sitting in the bar?
Yes.
Yes,
certainly, sir.
Nat 1. Oh no, never mind. 3.
3.
Which
Right.
is me playing magic cards.
yeah, literally.
Were you guys literally playing Magic?
Luckily,
Tap Mountain.
Yeah, I have a
Fireball.
deck of cards.
luckily Klaus is paying a bit more attention. And Klaus, you notice that once Rosie's been gone for a minute or two, two of the gnomes that were sitting at a table stand up, and they're sort of casting very pointed glances at the hallway where Rosie went as they leave, and muttering to one another as they look back at that hall. They don't look happy.
Can I make out anything of what they're saying, or is it too loud in here?
Do you speak Gnomish?
I do.
Ooh.
That's probably to be expected considering he grew up in the city.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Give us a...
I keep...
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, I keep forgetting that all three of you grew up in the city.
Yeah, here's
I'm like,
a
you know, Rosie's the street smarts one here, but like actually any three of you would know where all the districts are.
Yeah, it's just that we've been hanging out in Gnome District specifically, so she would have a better idea than what we do.
Yeah.
So,
Give us
so you want that with a disadvantage?
no, just give us a second perception to try and hone in on what they're saying.
Okay. 13.
You kind of mentally shift gears as you realise they're speaking Gnomish and sort of start translating for yourself. You don't catch the whole conversation, but as they're walking out the door, you pick up the words, "Shut him up."
Oh. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. And so they've gotten up from their table, these three gnomes. They've pointed to and they've pointed towards the door where Rosie and Timothy are.
Not pointed, but they've cast very obvious looks that
gesturing. And they're leaving the bar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. Right. Well, so it's not like an immediate danger that Timothy's going to be in.
Well, I mean, they're not heading towards his door, but
yeah,
they seem to have whatever they're doing seems to be related to him.
Okay.
And that's where we're going to wrap up tonight. We've hit the end of our second block timer here. And leave you guys with that
are gonna
ominous,
get spicy.
Ominous
Oh,
threat.
yes.
As the
this is interesting.
Two guys leave the bar. Thanks for your patience there while Rosie had a one-on-one.
That's
Right.
honestly, it was good. Like,
Yeah, I was waiting for the. Well, you guys aren't here. Can you mute yourselves, please?
So
I guess I was of the assumption that Rosie was probably going to
tell everyone.
feed a fair bit of that back.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I did mention that in chat after I felt like I had a moment to type it out, because I also thought that. I was like, Kye's going to ask them to mute themselves, Kye's going to ask them to mute themselves, and then you didn't. And I was like, well, I guess to be fair, we're all in this investigation together. I'd probably just relay everything he says back to them anyway. So it doesn't make sense for him to mute them, for me to have to try and relay and capture as much information as I have.
had a moment of panic because I thought that I had not paid attention, and I'm like, did Kye tell us to not listen? Because it seems like something that Rosie could be doing behind the closed door, and we'd just be oblivious to it. And then no one replied to my message for a while, and I'm like, well, I've heard it now. And then I was like, she's going to tell us anyway, and then that way she doesn't have to feed it all back.
Have to waste time doing that.
But I mean, I don't mind. It was good because it definitely means that the conversation flows without other people jumping in, and it's really like Rosie's moment with Timothy. So definitely,
probably a good call too to have the one-on-one rather than have 4 very intimidating people in there.
Well, especially considering you guys did think that he did it, so
yeah, we were going to be condemning.
Gabriel would have just walked in, kicked his teeth in, and arrested him there and then.
Yeah.
I don't, buddy.
No, I don't think I suspected Timothy of actually doing it. And also my character would have definitely pushed either side before making a decision.
Just want to give a quick but sincere thank you to Made For You and Bomber Steve for following. Thank you very much. You guys followed shortly after we started our hour of focus time, unfortunately, so I couldn't say thank you then. But thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed the second half of Session 5. If you guys are out there going, Session 5, oh no, I don't know what's going on. Who's Marin? Why has he got pink hair? Who are these people? What's going on? The good news is you can watch all 4 previous sessions on YouTube.
Woo!
At our channel, Nerds of the West. Look at that convenient link right there in chat. So if you want to catch up on what you've missed for the first 4 sessions, they're all there. They're waiting for you. Go binge, and then you can come back next week and watch Session 6 and be totally up to speed and have your own theories on what the heck is going on in the city. As these guys are asking questions, taking names.
I'm beginning to piece some stuff together, I think.
I have a theory.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to talk about yet, or you want to wait till you're more sure?
I mean, I guess this is like between games, right? So,
this is all out of character.
all out of
Yeah,
character.
Kye's not going to confirm anything.
Yeah. So, okay. So
I'm just curious as to where your conspiracy webs are sitting right now.
Yeah. So based on what Tim's just told Rosie, right? So
Wait, how do you know that? We're in the room.
Gamer.
I sense motive on the room.
I vibe check the door.
So they were sponsored to move into the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I think has happened is the sponsor knew what they were working on, sponsored them to move into the city, and they were the ones responsible for breaking in and killing Marin. I think what they have done is they're going to blame it on old mate.
Or at least that's
Tim.
what they've tried to do.
Yeah, right. So they framed Tim. Now this is where things get a bit iffy, right? Because we don't know exactly who it is, right? So we have the church for Earthcaller, we've got the church for Darkhearth, and we have the 3 men that are involved at the moment. I think they're planning on setting the church of Earthcaller up as responsible for what may happen with the weapon missing, which I also think it's a battery that is going to charge jars full of electricity, which will then be used as bombs. That's what's ticking in my head, right? It's going to go one way or the other.
Considering its shape, I almost feel like it's a very rudimentary kind of bazooka that's used to shoot energy.
Like a rail gun?
Yeah, I feel like they're batteries and they're going to power the gun.
Possibly. It's going to work one way or the other. But I think something's going to happen, and they're going to try and blame the Church of Earthcaller for it. Now, where it gets fuzzy is I don't know whether Darkhearth's actually involved. It could be a thing of like, they're the ones behind it. or it could be the party, which involves the 3 men and the sponsor, going. We'll get them involved and make this like a big thing.
Well, so the 3 men, right? Possibly Facilin, who have sponsored Marin, thrown the shade, double-crossed Marin and Timothy, and now they're trying to shift the blame to the Church of Darkarth, which is also going to throw in some like chaos into the city and try to cause conflict from within the city, as opposed to it just being a straight Facilin problem.
It's a good
so I think it's
like I think Lachlan is mostly right, because in this case, the Darkarth Church would be a very good fall guy for a Fusilin plot to upset and potentially overthrow the city. So, if you can cause a very big problem, blame a gnome church whose entire ethos is about revenge, then it's quite possible you'd be able to switch some shit around.
Well, yeah,
So
especially
what was
at
the-
this critical time, because this is the moment where basically Rolands Landing is at its weakest point, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
the king has died. So
What was the
unrest
link?
is going to be used.
What was the link between Darkarth and Marin?
There was no real link. The amulet that we found in Timmy's bed was made of gold, and then what's his face, Fernando, noted that Darkarth trinkets tend to be made more with gold, whereas he worked more with silver. So, like, it did come back around to Darkarth, but I didn't think it really had anything to do with that to begin with.
Yeah, the Darkarth thing could also just be a red herring, as Chris suggested earlier. It's just also that one of the strange things that Tim brought up was he was approached by a group of gnomes talking about Darkarth.
Yeah, so that's how.
But once again, that could like just be coincidental,
or a red herring to make us think that it's something to do with Darkarth.
Yeah,
Doing it.
Yeah.
though
I think it's going to be yeah.
We do have. I was just gonna say we do have the amulet of Darkarth, so we can maybe do another undercover and send Rosie into the Church of Darkarth.
I think there's going to be like 2 factions, right? They've both got their different agendas, and they're just kind of happening at the same time.
Well, I think the gnomish agenda is going to be a little bit more in line with blocking the street with 2 cars. I think I think Fusilins are trying to build up the gnomish agenda to be bigger than it might actually be, so that when they do cause a entropic plot to try and take over the city, then it'll be easier to blame the disenfranchised gnomes than it would be to have the blame fall on them. And that's my opinion.
Yeah, and so if the Facilins rile up the Darkarth, then they're going to cause chaos, and then everyone's going to be annoyed at the gnomes for inner turmoil.
Yeah.
Well, interesting to see where you guys are at. I'm going to say how close or how far you are from
Guys,
any,
not even
any
close.
plots.
Just
I just use this to finish writing the story.
Guys, it was Harry. Harry's the bad guy.
God.
Obviously.
Which Harry? There's 10 of them.
Only 10 in a city this size? That's pretty good.
But I must say that was very enjoyable going from location to location, just investigating.
Yeah, I like
Glad
those
you
kind of
guys
heavy roleplay sessions.
Enjoyed
Yeah.
going around, taking names and asking questions. The decision to give Fernando a list was the last second decision, and I regret it because that was difficult to maintain. And
It popped me so huge, though.
I didn't realize
huge pop.
Beck had muted herself
Hated it.
and was just quietly dying in the corner.
There was a
yeah.
couple of like memes thrown out there while like chat was happening.
I saw you
like,
guys laughing at one, but I didn't catch the actual joke.
So I was watching. So I made a meme. It's in Discord, and I just see Reese. All I see is him proceed to open up his Discord on his TV he's got above his thing and look at it and then react.
Hey,
No,
can
I
I?
think I was doing something at the time, but I did open it and I just went, and then just went back to it.
I don't know if I can move it into a place where it's
Funny.
visible on the capture here.
Fucking
You'll have to head
killed
over.
me.
You'll have to head on over to the Discord, everybody. To take a look. It's
McBain, right? His friend's just been killed. McBain from Simpsons. His friend's just been killed, and he's yelling at the sky, "Facilla!"
Is it like a lethal
Fusil!
weapon or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Reference?
yeah. I looked at it, and I died, man. I died,
That's a good meme.
bro.
That's a solid.
Because
name.
we're talking about, we were just talking about Facilla and stuff, and we were in chat, and I wrote out Facilla with an exclamation mark, and I was like, and I couldn't think of the line from The Simpsons, and I was like, Die Hard Simpsons reference. What? There's like another particular action movie I couldn't remember, and there was like, Lethal Weapon, Simpsons reference, and
Mendoza!
then I found it. Mendoza.
Oh yeah, okay.
That is a
Good.
fire meme.
Good. And then and then we went on a tangent about the bed and how we didn't look under the bed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I sense motive the bed.
Which is good
Let me just
now
write
we're gonna
that
have to
down.
go, because now we have to go back to the crime scene, which is going to be great because we're backtracking to somewhere we've already been because we missed information, which is great.
This feels like a video game. I can't pick a particular one, but it's just a video game where it's like you go and talk to somebody and they're like, I still need this item that's in this location. You're like, oh fuck, I thought I found it. So you have to like trudge all the way back there and like do another look around. And you're like, where is this stupid thing?
I mean, what I was going for was for you guys to feel like you're actually sort of doing the legwork. You know, I didn't want you guys to get back to base and the sergeant to be like, all right, guys, here's your next lead. I want you guys to find the leads.
We found all the evidence you missed.
Yeah, which
Please
is
check
good,
it
'cause-
out in the evidence locker.
Because even if we didn't find the leads, we then went somewhere and you managed to impromptu and make like character like Nemo and Fernando that then pushed us back in the right direction, which is exactly what you want from a D&D, and not a lot of people do it because it's very hard to push people and realize that they've gone astray and then pushing them back in the right direction without being just straight up, this is what it means, good job, go over here, this is like
They
the
start
next
talking
thing.
about thick wolves and you got nothing. You got nothing.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
God.
you know, it also gave us like sort of two different avenues to go down. It was like there's one and there's another, choose which one you want to investigate first, as opposed to just being like, yeah, so this is Facilin, get out of my shop.
So is this just, if this is too much of a peek behind the, like, don't look at the man behind the curtain situation, was Nima a character you created on the spot, or had you already created Nima in the church?
Will he say?
Magician never reveals their secrets.
Like, you don't have to answer if you don't want
that's
to.
right. No, there's some major NPCs I already had small bios done up for, because I expected you guys at some point to visit places like, you know, the biggest gnome church in the city. But I was not surprised you guys went there this session, let's just say. So
Yeah, so out of order, but definitely was an existing character.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say out of order. You guys were obviously free to pursue things in whatever order you want. You guys can all quit the watch and do whatever you want if you want. I'll have to roll with
Let's
it.
start a tavern.
I mean,
Fuck it.
you know, you guys are following.
We'll call it puzzles.
I also
Following
thought
your
that
own path.
I also thought we messed up when we went to the tavern, and I was like, maybe we should just send Rosie in there by herself, and like she should do this all by herself. And especially when we walked in, and it was like, oh, everyone's giving us like dodgy looks. Maybe we should just leave, and this is a good cue for us to walk out. And then Rosie's like, "They're my friends, and they're here to drink. You guys have to stay now."
That was
It
good.
looks suspicious if you leave.
It would be weird if you left. I figured if Kye wanted me to go on my own, he would have found a reason for you guys not to come with me.
No, I wouldn't.
All right, fine, whatever.
You guys want to waltz into the Hornet's Nest with... That's okay.
Guns blazing.
Yeah, if you guys
Ready
wanted
for
to
going.
emotional support halberd all of the gnomes in the burrow, then that would have been your own prerogative.
I think it's interesting that you had
like
two different... like, you walked into the Earthcaller church, where it was, obviously primarily gnomes and all the furniture was for gnomes and everything, but, had one welcome and then entered another, gnome area of the city and got a totally different kind of welcome.
Different vibe.
Is a cool dichotomy in one session.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing where, like, I guess looking at the settings, you can kind of think of it to be expected. Because, like, you walk into a church, especially something like Earthcaller, who believes in nature and unity and that sort of thing. And it would be very difficult, I think, to find many gnomes that would worship a deity like that. And then turn around and say, oh, well, fuck these 3 tall boys that have just walked into my church. I think that they don't belong here and they should get out of here. Whereas, like, you go to a tavern where people go to unwind and to drink and to bitch about all of the freakishly tall humans that mess with their day-to-day lives. And in walks a half-orc, a human, and a dwarf. Like, historically non-disadvantaged people in their city. And you're gonna be like, fuck these guys, get out of my church.
Yeah.
The pub is my church.
Yeah, so I think you just did a very good job of highlighting the 2 different kinds of crowds you get in those 2 different places. And if it was in no other way but just showing how the 3 of them were perceived, then I think it's still very well done.
Well, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it so far. Be interesting to see what happens next session. Got some answers, got some more questions. It's like Lost. You're always going to have more questions than answers.
Yeah, which is good.
And then in the last season,
campaign.
we'll just not answer any of them.
Well, that's
finish
good
the
though.
campaign.
Instead of it just being like, get to point A, get to point B, get to point C, it's definitely the most free-flowing. It's like, oh, you can go anywhere in the city and do whatever you want in D&D, like shit in a fountain. But, there's actually reasoning for us to go to different places and backtrack, whereas a lot of time games or D&D sessions don't backtrack a hell of a lot. You're always marching forwards.
It's also a nice subtle use of, like, evidence to take us to those places. So it's not like a note that says, I've killed Marin and I saw Timmy run away and go to the burrow.
I done the
go
murder.
here. Go here this time and you will find me. Like, it's not shit like that. It's, you find an amulet.
Yeah, and you've got to use your
That's
own
it.
intelligence.
Figure it out.
to figure it
Yeah.
out.
You find an amulet. This is a cool looking amulet. Let's put that back in the pocket. Oh, hey, we found this amulet. Oh, it says right here, you guys are big dickheads.
That we are, Harry.
I think the only thing that I will say is that I actually did want to perform an insight check on the amulet, but you asked me to do a religion check, and then you went down to Gabriel downstairs. And I didn't want to be like, I do a religion check, I do an insight check, I do a perception check, I do a history check, I do all these checks on this amulet.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I guess we just had like 9 rolls on the amulet at that point, so I was kind of trying
Yeah.
to... And Gabriel hadn't done anything in the session up to that point, so I didn't want to
Yeah, no,
forget
that's
him,
fair.
but I guess we did kind of.
Yep.
The main
That's
thing I
thoughtful.
wanted you guys to get out of the amulet at that point, first and foremost, was that it was a Sega Gen Earthcaller amulet, which no one had worked out yet until Beck came upstairs.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
like,
My
How do you
many
guys feel about that as well? Like if someone makes a check and then it's like, oh, actually make a separate check on the same thing, and then you just go down a rabbit hole of making 40 million checks. Should it be just like you make one?
There are some situations in which I'm going to turn around and be like, all right, this is taking the piss, guys, because you're just trying to do the same thing and hope you get a different result. I think if you think about it from a role-playing perspective, it's the kind of thing where I can imagine that Hadrig looked at the amulet and couldn't figure out what had anything to do with it. And that's why I wasn't trying to be like, obviously I did do that, but like I tried to add in role-playing for me going upstairs beyond just, I want to look at the amulet and see if I can make a connection. But like it makes sense when you think about it in terms of role-playing that Hadrid could go, I don't know what this is, and then hand it off to somebody else to look at. And that's how I saw that interaction. So I get where Kye came from, where he was like, all right, now we're stopping looking at it because we've looked at it enough. I'm
sure that like Hadrig and I would have come downstairs and then gone, hey, this is what we found. Have a look at it.
Yeah, it's
we
just
can't
at that
make
time.
sense of it.
At that time, I was like 100% sure it was the same as the amulet that Terry Smalls had in the first episode. So that's why
that was the sort of thing that we was. That's a hard thing as well to get across, right? Because it's like we found the amulet over there and an amulet over here, and it's just like, I mean, Kai has described them as two different things. One's a diamond and one's a symbol.
Yeah, I didn't remember what they looked like though. I didn't have written down descriptions for them.
But yeah, obviously that was our thought as well, without remembering what the first amulet was like, is it the same amulet? Is it Dark Hearth? Oh, we've come full circle.
Yeah.
Alright guys, well, thank you very much for playing. I've just had a bit of a squiz. Looks like there is another Australian D&D game going on right now. On a channel called Crit and Miss.
So Crit and Miss.
Mosey on over there, say hello to some fellow Aussie Australians.
Nice.
Australians.
Nice.
So let me just punch that in.
I'm also liking the fact that we can split the party without mad fear.
Yeah.
Dying.
Yes.
So far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we...
But look, I could have gone into that room, daggers ablazing. So.
Yeah.
Also, you could have gone in there and there was just
up.
4 burly dudes with meat cleavers. You never know.
But anyway,
But it worked out.
we should wrap it up. But don't forget, guys, tomorrow we are back in the studio in
Oh my god!
12 p.m. We are playing Magic the Gathering. We're doing a commander draft. It's gonna be sick. Be there, be there, and be square.
It's a Dungeons and Dragons themed Magic set, isn't it?
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate.
That is correct. The battle for Baldur's Gate. So we are doing that, but we are officially back in the studio, COVID permitting. So
Don't say that, dude. Someone's going to catch it between now and then.
Yeah.
bro, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and it's gonna be a message from Tom. Streams off. Sorry, like,
I got that.
No, positive
Tom's-
thinking.
Tom's
That's not going to
COVID.
happen.
Tom is COVID free. I have still yet to catch it. I've been doing a rat test literally every morning.
Alright guys,
and
we're out of
it's still
time. Tune in
happening.
tomorrow for some Magic D&D. Thank you for watching. We love you. We'll see you here next week for session 6. Good night.
Bye.
See ya!